In the Dolly Collision and Custom, Michael V. Williams Build Renovate, number 75. Here is Chris Pasriak. And next door to him will be Craig Lutz. So we are going to park the cars on the front straightaway and then have our introductions.
Just going to shut them down, introduce them. Gentlemen, start your engines.
So you can't blame an announcer for getting a little excited, but we will park the cars, introduce you to the field from back to front, and then have our gentlemen start your engines. So the cars will assemble at the start-finish line. And there is so much talent here. It is unbelievable. Andy Jankowiak in the 59, in the number 44 car. That is in the 44 car, Anthony Cecily. We haven't seen that much of him in Connecticut in recent years, but we are seeing him today. Josh Sentak in the 81. And now we are ready to introduce you to the field. And starting at the rear in car number 25, remember he had engine problems in practice. He is in the Casella Snowplows and Mully's Auto Repair car from Tolland. Here is Ronnie Williams. Then it will be car number 81 from East Haven. The Knightsbridge Company will be sponsoring Josh Sentak, car number 81.
23rd starting spot goes to the 35. The CBYD 811 Buds sponsored entry for Andrew Moeller from Shelton, Connecticut. 22nd will be the number 23, the JM Auto Body Dairy Queen of North Brantford Chevrolet for John Montesanto from North Brantford.
And a hole is left open for the guy who just won the SK Light feature. He is from Woodstock in the Polar Beverages and CC Pools car from Woodstock, Buddy Charette. And next door to him in car number 44, he comes from Port Monmouth, New Jersey, in the Cluse Motorsports and Schultz Engineering and Products car. The driver is Anthony Cecily.
19th starting spot goes to the number 31, Noah Corner from Avon, the Mid-State Site Development H.O. Penn sponsored car. And 18th goes to brightly colored number 59 for Andy Jankowiak from Tonawanda, New York, in the BNP Machine-sponsored car.
Then it's car number 1. He is from Holland, New York, finishing second in the modified tour this season in the Superior refinishing car, Patrick Emmerling. And then it will be the 4X, one of the youngest drivers in the field from Seymour. Lincoln Tech and Extreme Auto Body and Collision are the sponsors for Nick Anglace.
15th starting position goes to the Sapienza Enterprises, number 36, for Dave Sapienza from Riverhead, New York. And then the number 24 of Andrew Krause from East Brunswick, New Jersey, the Supreme Manufacturing, number 24.
This driver earned a nickname of Big Money Mike for winning some big money races during the year. Today he is in the 7 New York from Wilkett in the Ultra Real PSR Pro Series car. The driver, Mike Christopher Jr. And then in the 16 Connecticut from Norwalk, in the Future Homes and Blue Mountain Machine Incorporated car, a former Wheeling Tour champion. Here is Ron Silk.
11th starting position goes to the number 58, the GAF roofing entry for Eric Goodale from Riverhead, New York. And into the top 10, 10th spot, the number 51, the Phoenix Communications entry for Justin Bonsignor from Holtzville, New York.
Starting in the 9th place, for New Hampshire, a driver who hails from Millis, Massachusetts, the Extreme Auto Body and Collision and Go Green Manufacturing car, the man behind the wheel, Tommy Barrett. And then in car number 57, he just racked up another Sunoco Modified Championship earlier this afternoon. He is in the M&M Stone Creations car. Here is Kid Rock, Keith Rocco.
Seventh starting position goes to the number 3, the Propane Plus Cerevalos Auto. Old Blue number 3 for Matt Swanson from Harvard, Massachusetts. Starting alongside the number 79 of John McKennedy from Chelmsford.
Then it will be the 5th starter, car number 92. He is from Berlin. A multi-time Modified Racing Series champion in the Nacella Paving and Kane Associates Air Gas Chevrolet, the driver, Anthony Nacella. Then it will be the 6th-time Wheeler Modified Tour champion in car number 10. He is from Marion, Connecticut, in the Mayhew Tools LFR-sponsored car, Doug Kobe.
Third starting position goes to the number 9, the Start Finish Motorsports S&S Asphalt Paving, number 9, for Chase Dowling from Bethlehem, Connecticut. And then to the front row, on the outside, the 06, the Central Mass Tree entry for Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York.
And the man who will bring the field around is in the 75, Connecticut. He is from Moosip in the Dolly Collision and Custom, Michael V. Williams Build Renovate, number 75, the driver, Chris Pastriak.
Now we'll get the entire crowd here this afternoon to deliver the most famous words in motorsports. On the count of 1, 2, 3, gentlemen, start your engines.
And that is a great sound that we hear. So, Pete, you got the crowd into it. And now it'll be up to the drivers to entertain us for 300 laps. Now, Buddy Charette, he is on pit road. And when the field comes by, he will take his spot underneath Andy Jankowiak. And one of the plots, Ronnie Williams, we have seen him dominate in the 75 lappers at the end of the summer. Can he come from last? One would think that in 300 laps, that starting position might not mean that much. But when you're starting dead last and you have a different engine in that car, there is a huge question mark hovering over that 25. I think we can call it the 25 question mark, driven by Ronnie Williams. Casella Snowplows, the sponsor of that car. Another plot. We have seen Chris Pastriak have great runs at Thompson all summer long. He hasn't had the greatest of finishes, however. Can he put 300 great laps together? And Craig Lutz, remember that is a borrowed race car for him. As his team disbanded, he was searching for rides, hooked up with Randy Ramo, the dad of Sammy Ramo. Sammy is in college. That car was open, and Craig Lutz is behind the wheel. Chase Dowling has had a great run at Thompson. And Doug Kobe, well, all the tour races are long-distance races, and Kobe is a master at them. So you have to keep an eye out for him. And this is an all-star team assembled for this race. A lot of talent. And Pete, we have waited for this race ever since it was announced in the winter, and now it is about to arrive.
Yeah, bringing back the running of the Thompson 300. And again, we talk about the strategy that goes into this race, the endurance. It's a long way to go with these cars up to speed on just about every lap. So the mechanical aspects of it really come into play. And we've got some of the big stars that have won big races here at Thompson right in the field here. So mixed in with some guys that are running their first Thompson 300 ever. Should be exciting to see as we're going to get ready to turn them loose. We'll double them up side by side behind the Thompson Speedway pace car.
And during every caution, we will be bringing you lap sponsors. We know because of the way the rules are formatted that we will have at least 3 caution flags, but probably more than that. So now it is time to take a deep breath. A field of talented drivers from all over the Northeast are ready. Chris Pastriak is ready. Craig Lutz is ready. And ready to take you to the start-finish line. Here is Pete Falcone.
Pace car peels off onto pit road, and we get ready to turn them loose for 300 green flag laps. Here they come. Green is in the air, and the outside row will get the jump. Chris Pastriak will lead them down into turn 1.
And Doug Colby trying to take second away from Lutz, and he has power on the outside, and he is able to do it. As they helter-skelter their way, Colby wants the lead. He wants the first lap money as he dive bombs underneath Pastriak.
And Doug Colby will lead lap number 1. Pastriak will follow him across. And John McKennedy right there in the number 79 into the 3rd spot.
One car on the bottom by himself. That is Matt Swanson. He is battling Chase Dowling for the number 5 position. Right behind them is Nacella as Colby leads his second lap. And Pastriak has to worry about the presence of John McKennedy behind him.
Yeah, they are pretty much settled down now at this point. Single file down the backstretch with, of course, Colby out in front, the early leader, Pastriak second, McKennedy third. Then it's Lutz, followed by Chase Dowling and Matt Swanson, all in a straight line.
Eric Goodale got trapped on the inside, and he has been able to twist that car back to the outside groove in front of Sapienza, as McKennedy gets by Pastriak to move into second. So that was a pretty vicious move, orchestrated by John McKennedy.
Yeah, he flexes a little muscle there, and McKennedy coming all the way from the 6th starting spot up to second right now and follows in the tire tracks of Doug Colby.
That is a preview of the car he is going to compete with in 2022. Pastriak holding off Lutz for the top 4. Then it's Chase Dowling and Matt Swanson. That car much more effective on the outside groove as he is going after the back bumper of the Chase Dowling car.
One of the guys that is slicing through traffic right now is Ronnie Williams, who had to change engines after an engine problem in in practice earlier today. He didn't make qualifying, so he had to start at the rear of the field, and he's starting to slice his way through in the Casella 25.
Yeah, he has gone from 25th to 19th in only 7 laps. So it is Rocco being challenged by Justin Bonsignor. That is a fight for 8th and 9th. And also getting involved is the black number 16 for Ron Silk. Bonsignor looked like he was going to take off underneath Rocco, and Rocco protected the bottom.
They're all kind of testing their cars at this point. Nobody making any bold moves, and no reason to do so, as we're only 8 laps into the Thompson 300. Been a couple of change of positions here, but as we mentioned, really the only guy that's passing a lot of cars is Ronnie Williams in that 25, and he wants to get back up with some of the drivers that he's used to going wheel to wheel with closer to the front.
Buddy Charette went down low, and he was able to climb back up in 18th place. Ronnie Williams now is in 16th, so he has gained 9 positions since the start of the race. And he has gone down low, so this is a move. It gives you some immediate success as he gets by Goodale. Now Colby getting challenged for the lead by McKennedy.
Yeah, McKennedy testing him over there in the 3rd turn. Took a shot down underneath and couldn't make the pass, so he settles back behind Colby and decides to follow him down the backstretch till now. Then he pulls out a line, and he's going to try the bottom again. Colby trying to hold him off here out of turn 4. They're side by side at the stripe.
And Kennedy in the jet stream. McKennedy moves out in front, so we have our 3rd leader, and it is McKennedy. Pastriak is 3rd, followed by Lutz. And Ronnie Williams, he continues to jackknife his way through the field as Ronnie Williams is now 12th, picking up 13 positions in 13 laps.
Certainly on the move in that number 25. The lead pack has started to pull away. The final car in that lead pack is the 7th place car of Anthony Nocella. Then the battle for 8th has Justin Bonsignor, Keith Rocco, and Ron Silk on the move. Silk pulls out a line and gets underneath Rocco on the backstretch.
And not very far away, Andrew Krause at 11th, and Ronnie Williams looking to make a move as he thunders underneath the 24 car. Silk underneath Rocco. Let's see if he can complete the move. It's like he has suction cups for tires as he gets by Rocco. And Williams was unable to get by Andrew Krause. He's going to try it again. He gets by Krause, and he almost gets by Rocco.
Yeah, well, you remember that they have a little history going back to the Sunoco Modified feature here this afternoon. So that'll be an interesting pass when Williams finally gets to Rocco. Let's see if all is forgiven since that altercation on the racetrack just about an hour ago.
Well, there's also been a little history earlier this summer at Stafford. So those two drivers are well acquainted, but they have a buffer in between them. Andrew Krause in the 24. Ronnie Williams doing a great battle against Bonsignor. And up at the front, McKennedy is cruising along with the lead. And Pastriak is closing in on the tailpipe of the Doug Colby car.
A little further back, again, we've been following the progress of Ronnie Williams. He finally is able to make the pass on the 24 of Andrew Krause, and now he's taking a run down underneath Rocco and slides right up in front of him and takes the spot away without altercation, at least for now.
And Ron Silk going after Bonsignor. On the last lap, he was halfway underneath him. This time, he was about 75% underneath the 51 car. Ronnie Williams is right behind him. And one thing we've learned about Williams today, he can erupt like lava out of a volcano. So you take your eye off Ronnie Williams and you could be missing a pass. He is in the top 10.
Anthony Nocella has gotten around Chase Dowling to move up to the 6th spot in the 92. Dowling back to 7th, and that's that lead pack of 7 cars. And you've got to go almost half the straightaway back to Justin Bonsignor running in 8th and Ron Silk in 9th.
Now Pastriak, he has an idea against Kobe, but I think the lap caller, Josh Sentak, kind of eliminated a potential pass by Pastriak, and now he has to be concerned about Craig Lutz in the 0-6. So Lutz running a strong 4th, Matt Swanson right behind him, then Nocella 6th and Dowling 7th, and nobody has an answer right now for John McKennedy.
No, McKennedy has set a good pace and remains about 5 car lengths over Doug Colby down the backstretch. Pastriak feeling some pressure from Lutz in that 0-6. Lutz in for Sammy Ramo this weekend. And he keeps taking a look to the inside of Pastriak. That time through 1 and 2, Pastriak kept the car on the low side.
Now it is Ronnie Williams approaching the back bumper of the Justin Bonsignor car. And Bonsignor going high through turns 3 and 4 to keep Williams away from him. Krause is behind the 25. So that's a pretty good battle with Silk in 8th and Bonsignor in 9th, Williams in 10th. But John McKennedy, he is ready to meet some of the slower cars. John Montesanto in front of him, and he is able to blow by him. No issues there. And maybe Kobe gained a little ground. We'll see if he can maintain his momentum.
Yeah, different drivers trying different parts of the racetrack just to get a feel for it, particularly for later on in the race. Finding the sweet spot, if you will, at least on this set of tires. We've got 27, soon to be 28 laps into the Thompson 300.
And Kobe, it looks like he has settled back in to second place. Silk is pulled away from Bonsignor, and Williams unable to pull away that much from Andrew Krause. Then it is Mike Christopher looking for a clue against Keith Rocco in car number 57. Now things are getting close between Krause and Williams, as Krause almost gave him a little Woody Woodpecker action. And Krause is going to go down low to see if he can disrupt the rhythm of Ronnie Williams. And McKennedy, we have seen him move out in front before, and he is stretching matters against Doug Colby. As we look a little deeper in the field, we see Eric Goodale in the 58. He is currently running in the number 14 spot. And Buddy Charette, he is not doing badly at all. As Buddy has passed a few cars since this race, he is in 15th. Now making a move on the outside, that is Mike Christopher, as he is looking to get past Keith Rocco, and he is going to do it by going to the suburbs, the high groove of the track to pull even with Rocco.
Yeah, get a great launch off of turn 2 and down the backstretch, trying to take that spot away. And does. He is clear of Rocco, now going after the 25 of Ronnie Williams.
And Ronnie Williams passed a lot of cars early, and maybe that cost him some tires because Kraus was able to get by him. He gets by Nick Anglaise, one of the slower cars. And now the next driver on the hit list for Kraus will be Justin Bonsignor in the 51. What can Silk do against Dowling? As he wanders to the outside of the 9 car, here is Silk as he is able to blow his way around Chase Dowling, and Ron Silk has moved into 7th place.
Yeah, while there's some room on the outside, Justin Bonsignor decides to take a move on the outside of Chase Dowling, so they both pick up a position and shuffle Dowling back 1.
Well, Doug Colby predicted this at the start of the race. He said he expected a long green flag run in the beginning, and we have certainly received that. McKennedy has lengthened his lead to 7/10 of a second over Doug Colby. Bonsignor, he is trying to get revenge against Ron Silk, and right now he is perched on the spoiler. Then it is Dowling, followed by Kraus, and Mike Christopher leads the next group of cars, and hanging out in his glove compartment is Ronnie Williams.
Yeah, Christopher was able to get around Williams. He caught right up to him and drove around him. Williams came with quite a charge at the beginning and wanted to get up and run with these guys. I think that was his plan after starting last for changing an engine between practice and feature time. So, although he seems to be a little off the pace, he's given up a spot to Keith Rocco, and now Eric Goodale goes around. Williams settles in behind them now.
So Buddy Charette still having a good run as he maintains his 15th place position. Andrew Moeller, he is in car number 35, trying to hold off Colby and stay on the lead lap, and he is unable to do that. So McKennedy got by Moeller, Colby got by Moeller, and Pastriak is getting by him. The RaceChoice.com car driven by Andrew Moeller and John McKennedy, since taking the lead from Colby, has been very steady. He is still 7/10 of a second ahead of Colby.
Yeah, Justin Bonsignor has gotten around Ron Silk and seems to be mounting a charge. He's now on the back bumper of Anthony Nocella as he made up ground on that front pack of cars. And now starts to race with Nocella in a race for position. That is the race for 6th.
And Bonsignor has inside advantage, but he can't use it against Nocella. So Nocella was pretty quick coming off of turn number 4 as they nitro their way into turn number 3, and Bonsignor tries to nip at the heels of Nocella, but I think that time the slower car of John Montesanto derailed the plans of Bonsignor. He will try it again.
Stays right there with Nocella.
And the lead is shrunk for McKennedy as Colby now will see what the differential is when they hit the line. It was 7/10 of a second the last time we checked out, and now it is down to .4. So Kobe gaining a little ground against McKennedy.
While that was going on, Justin Bonsignor was able to get around Anthony Nocella and pick up a spot. So he's just outside the top 5 at this point now, trying to catch up to the 3 of Matt Swanson. Swanson, who holds the 5th spot.
Now McKennedy, maybe that car just took a little siesta because he turned on the juice and now leads by 0.8 of a second. So McKennedy back on top of his game. Bonsignor looking to get underneath Matt Swanson as he is giving it a try on the on the front stretch. Let's see what happens in turn 1. There is Bonsignor as he is surrounding Matt Swanson, and he gets by him.
Yeah, he picks up a spot now into the top 5.
Now Nocella is going to have to shrug off Ron Silk in the 16. So that is a very interesting battle. And John McKennedy, he enters turn number 3 with a hefty lead over Kobe. But we have a battle for 3rd and 4th as Craig Lutz is starting to narrow the gap that separates him from Pastriak.
Yeah, Johnson Bonsignor is the man on a tear right now, as he got by Swanson and continues his charge to the front. McKennedy has turned up the wick, but Bonsignor closing in now on Craig Lutz.
And that lead is about as big as a toenail. Room on the inside for Bonsignor as he tries to blast his way underneath Lutz, and he does. Bonsignor, he was in 8th place a few moments ago, and now he is in the top 4. McKennedy might have an issue with some slower cars in front of him, racing side by side, Emmerling and Sapienza, and that will kind of bottle up McKennedy. We'll see if Kobe and Pastriak can take advantage of that.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good traffic in front of him. The passing flag is out.
And that double file battle breaks up between Sapienza and Emmerling. And McKennedy gets by Emmerling and now is going after Sapienza. And that was a little hair racing because when there is a double file battle in front of you, the leader is at a disadvantage. Now he goes around Tommy Barrett. Well, the lead for McKennedy is still 0.8 of a second.
The guy on the move is Justin Bonsignor. He's just cutting around Doug Kobe, and on the clock, he is turning in some of the faster laps out there, faster than the leader last time around. So he is certainly on a tear.
Well, we'll see how Bonsignor handles the slower traffic in front of him as they are racing hard. And Bonsignor was able to get by Emmerling. So Bonsignor had some magic as he was able to Vegematic his way around the slower traffic. And now he is going after McKennedy. First, he has to get underneath Sapienza. And now there is nothing but racetrack separating McKennedy from Bonsignor.
Yeah, we'll check the times once again this time around. Bonsignor again quicker that lap than McKennedy.
Lutz closing in on the back bumper of Pastriak, who's trying to get underneath Emmerling. And Pastriak is able to get by the one or the 4 car of Tommy Barrett. But up at the front, it is Bonsignor. He is only down by 0.7 of a second. Now remember, if it stays green on lap number 75, we will have our first caution.
That last lap, John McKennedy had picked it up a little bit. He was a little quicker than Justin Bonsignor, so that's how he's able to maintain the space. He's going to have to pick his way through, again, some of this traffic that's going to go down a lap. And among those cars that could go down a lap is Chase Dowling, as he's now getting past.
And he goes around. That could be our first caution, and it is. As it was a battle between Jan Kowiak and Dowling, and all of a sudden, the twitch by Dowling. He is in turn number 2. We have our first yellow on lap number 58. Now remember, these drivers get to change 12 tires. So we could see, I think, some pit stops. I think some drivers might need fresh rubber. So we will keep an eye on pit road. And while Pete is watching pit road, we will try to catch up on our lap sponsors. Lap number 21, Falcone Energy, in memory of George Summers from the Summers family. Lap number 22, Trick Mobile RV Services from Holden. Lap number 23, Stan's Appliance. Lap number 24, Jay Sousa. Lap number 25, Brookside Equipment and Construction Equipment and Trucks. Lap number 26, Waddell Communications. Lap number 27, lost but not forgotten, Cliff Krause and John Blewett III. Lap number 28, in memory of Jim Morissette. Lap number 28, Jason Glaud, K&H Equipment. Lap number 30, Mandy's Dirty 30th birthday, Falcone Energy, in memory of George Summers, sponsoring lap number 31. 32, Cape Towing and Salvage. 33, in memory of Jim Morissette. 34, Stan's Appliance. Ransom Service Center of Worcester, in lap number 35, Tony O'Terry in lap number 38, Ryan Stone, 39, and Kevin's Automotive of West Boylston, lap number 40. And we see a crew, a cavalry charge on pit road.
Yeah, the green flag for pit road has come out, and you'll see pretty much the whole field make its way down, and let's see who's going to be the quickest and win this race off of pit road, as the first one to come to a stop of the front runners is Justin Bonsignor.
He's usually pretty good. His crew is good, especially at Thompson.
And the work is underway down there on pit road. Obviously, the choice is to go to the right rear first, which has been the case on just about everybody down there. And Justin Bonsignor pulls out with the fuel can and the crew member attached to the fuel can. He pulls out with the fuel can still in the car and drags the fuel man down to the ground.
I think he saw Silk coming, and Silk beat him out of pit road. So the yellow continues to be out, and I believe Bonsignor, he only changed rear tires.
Yeah, they worked on the rear of the car, and they also fueled it, but they did not get the fuel can out of the car before he pulled away. So,
and like you said, the crew member almost went for a ride, and that was a pretty dangerous situation there.
Yeah, because he was holding on to the can, trying to pull it out of the car, but Bonsignor took off in a hurry, and good thing he didn't drag the can all the way out. So,
or the crewman.
But correct.
And Ron Silk, it gets the advantage. Then it's Bonsignor. What about Keith Rocco? Did he stay out or go in? But he is not being scored in the top three. But he might be there. Moeller on pit road. While Pete watches pit road, let's try to catch up on our lap sponsors. Lap number 42, Webster Fish and Game. Lap number 43, John Montesanto. Lap number 44, Dual Temp Insulation, your mechanical insulation needs from Mayhem Motorsports. Lap number 45, in memory of Gene and Marilyn Angelillo. Doug Kate sponsoring 46 from Maiden Form Foundations. Lap number 47, in memory of Mike Lindblad from Lindblad Racing. Lap number 48, in memory of Jim Morissette, Bond Landscaping. Lap number 49, Brookside Equipment. Lap number 50. Lap number 51, in memory of Cindy Burdick. Lap number 52, Belanger Motorsports. Lap number 55, the Thompson Speedway Track Crew. 56, Waddell Communications. The Payne family, lap number 47. And in lap number 48, Riverhead Building Supply. Lap number 59 and 60, Katie's Tavern, in memory of Mike Stefanik. Lap number 61, Falcone Energy, in memory of Richie Evans. And lap number 62, Wicked Power Sports of Stafford. And we are ahead of the game.
And they get them doubled up for the restart. Late arrival on the pit road for Anthony Nocella in the 92. Looks like they didn't get the lug nuts tight on the right front as he came in, and that's all that they did when he came in on pit road just before doubling up for the restart. So that has mired him back in the field quite a ways.
Now Keith Rocco was 12th before the pit stop. He is in third now.
Green flag is in the air, and Ron Silk will lead him down into turn one. Justin Bonsignor with him. Then Eric Goodale for third. Andrew Krause out to fourth.
Bonsignor looks like he's on a mission as he looks serious against the 16. Goodale in third. Then in fourth it is Krause, and Mike Christopher Jr. is rounding out our top five as we approach lap number 60.
The guy that made an unbelievable move was the 79 of John McKennedy as he went three deep out of the fourth turn, pretty much down on the apron to pass two or three cars, and continues his march to the front, doing it down on the inside.
Goodale looking for racing room against Bonsignor. We'll see if he can find it. Not yet. Here is McKennedy approaching the back bumper of Mike Christopher, a car that McKennedy drove on the Whelen Modified Tour, and he gets about halfway there, and Christopher pulls away.
Here's a challenge for the lead, right between the first and second turn. Bonsignor takes it down to the low side on Ron Silk. Can't make the pass that time, and he'll follow Silk through the turn. He's got Eric Goodale all over the back bumper through that third and fourth turn.
And Goodale trying to put some leverage against that car of Bonsignor. McKennedy going out of line. He is going after Krause. That is a battle for fourth place. McKennedy with a power surge. He is in the jet stream, so McKennedy has had success going on the inside as he still works his way against Andrew Krause.
Yeah, John McKennedy trying to make a statement here this afternoon after the news that he will not be returning to Tommy Baldwin Racing on the tour, and instead will be driving for a new team. And because he makes a living at this racing, it's got to count for him.
Now, if we don't go with a caution for a long period of time, the next one will come out on lap 133. McKennedy, he is not waiting for yellow. He is trying to dive bomb his way underneath Goodale, and he is torpedoing his way into the top three. So now we have a great battle in the top three between Silk, Bonsignor, and McKennedy.
Yeah, McKennedy has passed the most cars since the pit stops. The other guy on the move is Doug Colby trying to get back to the front. He's working the inside of Mike Christopher down the front stretch.
And McKennedy almost had a little room, a little shove from behind to the back bumper of Bonsignor. Now Goodale in fourth. McKennedy is on the move as he tries to rocket underneath the 51 of Bonsignor. As they cross the line, Bonsignor is able to hold him off for now.
Yeah, for a guy that says, I make my living driving race cars, McKennedy would like to get back to the front and pick up that bonus money, that lap money from the sponsors that you've been mentioning, Matt. And he is on a tear now, back up to third spot and looking to the inside of Justin Bonsignor out of four.
Yeah, he's not only headed for the lead, he's headed for the cash register. Right now, he's headed for Justin Bonsignor. Got halfway underneath him. Let's see what changes in turn number three. Power for McKennedy as he is able to vapor trail his way underneath Bonsignor, and the driver with the voltage is John McKennedy.
Yeah, McKennedy hanging tough down there on the bottom.
Well, he's the only guy who's really had a lot of success there. A three-way battle for fourth. Here is McKennedy. He could go 2 for 1. He got by Bonsignor, now he's going after Silk.
Boy, he made that thing stick down on the bottom out of turn 4, and yeah, he's going to get by Silk and drive right up in front of him and become the new leader.
Goodale and Krause continue to battle for fourth place. Behind him is Mike Christopher. Colby is back in the upper tier of the field as he is behind Mike Christopher, and then Craig Lutz, he is behind Colby. John McKennedy has come from the wilderness to take over the lead as he has the advantage on lap number 71. Remember, there will be a competition caution on lap number 133 unless we get a normal caution. And Christopher making a good move, getting by Goodale. So Mike Christopher, he has some power in car number 7. Kraus trying to slice his way underneath Goodale. Well, Andrew Kraus has had a great race. He had a stretch where he was almost unbeatable this year at Wall Stadium. Now Kobe putting some pressure on Kraus. It looks like Nick Anglace is on pit road, and that's silver number 4. Well, McKennedy has opened things up against Ron Silk. Then it's Bonsignor and Mike Christopher. He has gotten quicker over the last handful of laps. Kobe looking for room on the outside of Kraus.
Yeah, Christopher's got some of the fastest laps out there right now, sort of mirroring what John McKennedy's doing up front, so he's definitely on the move.
Well, that's the car McKennedy used to drive. And he is trying to shrink the advantage for Bonsignor. Eric Goodale really racing hard this afternoon. And Andrew Kraus, one of the feel-good stories, running 6th. And Kobe went down low. Really, the only guy who has consistently been able to make passes down low has been McKennedy. Yellow.
Caution flag is out on the speedway. Lap number for weather. So we're going under caution once again for...
So the weather has interrupted this race. The second caution. So 76 laps have been completed. And John McKennedy, while most of the guys have done their passing on the outside, the man who has been able to torpedo his way through the field, John McKennedy. So it has been a briskly paced race, Pete, and a lot of action up at the front. And McKennedy has come from Bear Grylls country in the wilderness to take over the lead.
Yeah, he really got going after those pit stops for sure, working the inside of the racetrack. He wanted to get right back up to the front. We've mentioned the fact that the leader picks up the bonus money, that $50 a lap sponsor money, and so yeah, that's important to John McKennedy too.
And let's Pete and I will run down these some of the lap sponsors as we have this delay, and hopefully it won't be a long one. Lap number 68 in memory of Jim Morissette. Lap number 69, Anglace Racing and Extreme Racing. Lap number 70, Matthews Truck Service. Lap number 75, Brookside Equipment Sales, Construction Equipment and Trucks. Lap number 76, Lost But Not Forgotten, Cliff Kraus and John Blewett III. Lap number 78, Soundwood Builders, that's Jeff Malave. 79, in memory of Big D. And in lap number 80, Kevin's Automotive of West Boylston.
The sponsor for lap number 81, Chassis Pro. 82, M&T Enterprises. Lap number 84 in memory of Leo Clary from Lindblad Racing. The lap number 85, Ranstrom Service Center of Worcester. Lap number 86, Waddell Communications and Racing Electronics. Lap number 88, Classic Northeast Auto Racing. Lap number 90, AMR Chassis Works. Lap number 91, Hartwell Motorsports in memory of Jim Morissette. Lap 95, Anglace Racing, Vinny Anglace. Lap number 98, AMR Chassis Works. Lap number 99, in memory of Bill Cummins and the number 99 from the family of friends. And lap number 100, Brookside Equipment Sales.
And the yellow lights are still on the pace car, so we continue to race under yellow. And we will continue our sponsorship. Lap number 101, LCQ Motorsports News. And now the lights are off the pace car, so we are ready to go back to work. Lap number 103, in memory of Jim Morissette. Lap number 105, Pastriac Asphalt, LLC.
So with a caution at lap 76, unless we get another caution, we'd see a competition caution at lap 151. So Ronnie Williams, late onto pit road. He will rejoin the rear of the field in that number 25 as the pace car gets ready to peel off. And for the start, here's Matt.
And let's see what McKennedy does. He is a powerhouse as he overwhelms Silk and he blockbusters his way into turn number 2 with the lead. Bonsignor tried to get underneath Silk, couldn't do it, and Mike Christopher getting around Bonsignor to move into the top 3.
Yeah, Christopher with a great run going. Now Andrew Kraus will work the outside of Justin Bonsignor, trying to take the 4th spot away, and does. He clears Bonsignor and goes into a clean 4th.
And now Lutz trying to torment the back bumper with the Bonsignor car. Double file battle. Kobe on the outside, Goodale on the inside. Pastriak is a factor, but nobody can catch John McKennedy, who is able to rampage his way into the second corner. Double file battle between Mike Christopher and Silk, and Christopher almost got by the 16 car.
Yeah, Silk is able to pull him down the backstretch, and Christopher stays right there, kind of hanging on the back bumper of Silk. Behind him, Kraus, Bonsignor. Then it's Craig Lutz and Doug Kobe next in line.
And after Kobe, it is Goodale. Kobe on the move as he tries to shuffle his way underneath Lutz, as he machetes his way underneath the 06, and Doug Kobe is moved into the top 6.
Kobe with a march coming up, and here's Chase Dowling going on to pit road. The problems continue for Dowling in the number 9. He is on to pit road here on lap number 80.
Boy, that car was right for about 15 laps, and then he had problems. Mike Christopher not having any problems getting underneath Silk. Now Bonsignor is in a battle with Andrew Kraus. Kraus on the outside. He is in 4th. And Bonsignor, he has to worry about Kraus, but there's also a guy behind him he has to be concerned with, Doug Kobe.
Yeah, those old rivals are going at it for position right now. Bonsignor has that spot. That is the 5th position. Doug Kobe like to break back into the top 5.
And right behind him is Lutz, Eric Goodale. He has had his moments in this race, trying to have one now, and he is unable to get underneath Lutz for the time being. Up at the front, a huge lead for McKennedy by 1.05 seconds.
Yeah, he continues to really show the way around, though on the clock, not the fastest. Mike Christopher last lap had a faster lap, and does again this time. Ron Silk just a tick faster than Mike Christopher.
So John McKennedy, if he looks in his mirror, he'll see the car that he used to drive, now driven by Mike Christopher. So McKennedy, followed by Christopher, then Silk. As we check out some of the drivers at the rear of the field, Patrick Emmerling trying to get by Andy Jankaliak. That was a pretty ferocious battle, won by Emmerling, and that puts him into 15th place. Well, McKennedy is raking up a lot of lap money here. And Silk doesn't want Mike Christopher to get too far away from him. And Mike Christopher has a habit of showing up during the big money races and is able to get some wins, and he's done it this year with Tommy Baldwin's car in some of the open modified races.
Yeah, but the McKennedy just continues to expand that lead. Now, of course, at this position where we have a ways to go, whether we have a natural caution, that will, of course, change it. But we've got a ways to go before we get to a competition caution. As we mentioned, the next one, if needed, would come at lap 151. And McKennedy not worried about conservation whatsoever as he continues to set a blistering pace in the 79.
We've had 2 cautions. Chase Dowling will be back out, and he will be about 9 laps down. So Chase Dowling is on the track, but he is 9 laps down.
And still running around the bottom of the racetrack, so we'll have to see if he's able to get back up to race speed. or whether there's a problem with the car, although now it seems to be up to speed as he races down the backstretch. The lead has shrunk as Mike Christopher has closed in on John McKennedy. Now, lap times find Christopher just a tick faster than McKennedy, but again, we've seen this before, and then McKennedy pours it on and opens the lead back up again if he needs to. He's got no threat of traffic up ahead of him. He has really just a couple of cars within the sight of John McKennedy in front of him.
Sometimes McKennedy goes just as fast as he wants to, and he is right now approaching one of the slower cars, John Montesanto, and makes easy work of him as Montesanto, he is 3 laps down. And Bonsignor looking to get by the 23 car. So McKennedy, it looked like it was a lot closer a couple of laps ago, and now the time differential between the top two is 0.7 of a second.
The next guy who's in danger of going a lap down, if he's not already, is the 25 of Ronnie Williams. That car seems to be skating all over the racetrack. I don't know whether it's a handling issue with the car, but it seems to kind of bob and weave when he goes through the turns, and within a lap or two, he's going to be passed by our leader, McKennedy.
And Williams is on the lead lap, but for how much longer? As McKennedy coming on strongly in the 79 car. So like gum on the bottom of his shoe, Williams cannot get rid of McKennedy, who goes around, and Ronnie Williams is now a lap down.
Well, it's going to take a lot for Ronnie Williams to be able to repeat. He had won 2 of the open modified races this year back-to-back, the last 2 here at Thompson, and now he's gone a lap down, and obviously some problems with that car. His problems started earlier today when they lost the motor in practice, and they thrashed on that to change engines. Did not make his qualifying heat, came out, started last in the feature, passed a whole bunch of cars, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't running the way it was at the beginning of the race.
And now the last car on the lead lap is Keith Rocco. But Rocco not in jeopardy right now. He's about 1/3 of a track ahead of McKennedy. But Rocco is the last car on the lead lap, and he is in 18th place. And McKennedy really doesn't have to worry about that statistic right now. The one he is concerned with, getting $50 each time the scoreboard moves. We are on lap number 100, and it is another $50 into the direct deposit for John McKennedy. Well, Ronnie Williams trying to fight back against Isella, but he is not on the lead lap, and McKennedy, he is pretty swift. So after that pit stop on lap number 58, I don't think there's any question McKennedy has been the class of the field. Trouble for Ronnie Williams as he is blocking the track in turn number 4. Caution comes out on lap number 100.
So 25 comes around. We talked about the fact that the car seemed to be fishtailing a little bit. It looked like he might have been having some handling problems on that car as he seemed to kind of bob and weave on the racetrack and just went a lap down not all that long ago. So the problems continue for Ronnie Williams. He's had a tough day. So we'll see what happens when the cars follow the pace car around. Pit road is closed right now, and we'll wait and see if anybody decides to take a run down on the pit road.
Looked like he had Mexican jumping beans in the back of that car as it kind of was wiggling around on him. So the red flag you see on the entrance of pit road means that the pits are closed. The sponsor on lap number 106, the Ogieco family, Falcone Energy, your home comfort experts. Sponsor 110, Ken Massa, 111, 113 in memory of the 13 fallen soldiers. Lap number 114, Peakbrook Veterinary Center. Lap number 116, Weddell Communications Racing Electronics. Lap number 117, Dr. Gwen Moville Bet, Ken Massa, lap number 118. Wicked Power Sports of Stafford, sponsoring 119. And your sponsor for lap number 120, Kevin's Automotive of West Boylston.
Pits are open, and we've got takers and some fakers, as a matter of fact. The John McKennedy car comes down, and Mike Christopher was behind McKennedy like he was going to come to the pits, and he darted right back up behind the pace car. So we've only got a handful of cars this time, but some of the guys electing to stay out there.
As Goodale is in, Pastriak is in, Kobe is in, Rocco is coming in, Matt Swanson is there, Emmerling, Barrett, also Cecily, Glenn Corner, or Noah Corner. There is a crew on pit road, but who will be the first to leave? And it looks like John McKennedy has done the work that they wanted to do on that car, and he will be the first out.
They continue to work on Keith Rocco's number 57. They worked on the left side first. Now they're over on the right. Matt Swanson is down and away. Chase Dowling came into the pits while the red flag was still on pit road, and he's still up on pit road. Chris Pastriak is pulling away. Doug Kobe getting back on the track.
Now remember, the yellow laps do not count, so the drivers are not going to lose a lap by being on pit road. So that is the benefit of that. So the leader is Mike Christopher, who stayed out, as that was a little fake job by Mike Jr. And also staying out was Ron Silk and Andrew Kraus. So they become the leaders. However, there are drivers behind them with fresher rubber. Justin Bonsignor did not pit, as it was McKennedy, Kobe, and Goodale and Pastriak among the top-tier cars.
So the first car out of the pits will restart ninth. That is John McKennedy in the 79. Of course, he'll get the restart ahead of the cars that are at least a lap down. So he will start in ninth, and Eric Goodale, who came out right behind him, will start alongside.
And if McKennedy can move after this pit stop the way he did after the one on lap number 58, we expect to see a lot of shock and awe from that number 79 car. And it will be Mike Christopher who will lead him to the line. And the cross flags means the next time around we will be playing for keeps. Sponsoring lap 122, Trick Mobile Services, RV Services. Lap number 125, Brookside Equipment Sales. Lap number 133, Good Luck, BRE Racing from Gomer's Trucking. Lap number 137, Ransom Service Center. Lap number 140, Matthews Truck Service. Lap number 141, My Three Sons Racing. Lap number 146, Waddell Communications. Stands Appliance, lap number 148. And lap number 150, Brookside Equipment Sales.
Lights are off on the pace car. We'll go green flag racing this time. 100 laps complete. A third of the Thompson 300 is behind us, and the green flag is in the air.
And on a tear is Mike Christopher, as he is able to get the upper hand against Silk. Kraus on the bottom. Let's see if he can survive there. Bonsignor gets by him. A little nudge by Kraus as he tries to hold off Anthony Nacella.
Yeah, Nacella on a tear up on the outside of Kraus, trying to take that spot away, and does. Nacella goes to the fourth spot.
And in fifth is the number 06 of Craig Lutz.
Trouble on the
mess.
Trouble on the backstretch as Patrick Emmerling in trouble. A tire has come off of one of the cars. Andy Jankowiak was involved, and Chris Pastriak is up on top of him. The 25 of Ronnie Williams is involved, as is the 44.
Anthony Cecily, however, is able to drive away, and Noah Corner in car number 31 also got a piece of that. Doug Kobe was involved, but he was able to drive away.
Not sure how that started. I do know that Dave Sapienza had slowed a little bit on the lap before and had pulled to the bottom of the racetrack as some of the faster cars were scattering to get around him. So don't know if that had any or played into that on the backstretch right now. So
The pits are closed, but the green flag will be out probably the next time Mike Christopher, the leader, goes around. So we'll see if anybody goes in there. But right now, things are looking pretty messy on the backstretch. And Ronnie Williams, this has not been his day, as he had engine problems in practice, had to start at the rear of the field, made a good move early in the race to go from last to about 12th, then drop back, and now he is involved in a melee, also involved in a melee in the Sunoco Modified race. So this has not been a pleasure cruise for that number 25 and Ronnie Williams.
they're having to employ just about all the wreckers that we have out there. As Williams going off on the hook, they're going to put the hook on the number 1 of Patrick Emmerling. Looks like they'll attach to the front of Jankowiak's number 59.
And Andy Jankowiak, we never really got a good chance to see what he is capable of doing in the second half of races, as our wreckers trying to get into position in that fluorescent number 59 car.
We'll give you some more of our Sunoco Thompson 300 lap sponsors, including lap 151 in memory of Cindy Burdick. 153 is sponsored by the Speed 51 Northeast crew. Lap 155, the Thompson Speedway track crew. The Payne family on lap 157. Mason and Wyatt Goodale on lap 158. Kevin's Automotive of West Boylston for lap 160. Cole Raymond Kendall, 162. Interstate Transmission, Auburn, Mass, on lap 166. Genty's Excavation takes 170 and 171. Brookside Equipment Sales again. BrooksideEquipment.com on lap 175. Waddell Communications, Racing Electronics on lap 176. 185 is Randstrom Service Center of Worcester. 188 is B&M Maintenance. 189 is J&R Precast. 191 in memory of Jim Morissette. 198 AMR Chassis Works. Lap 199 in memory of Bill Cummins and the number 99 from the family and friends. Lap 200, Duke's Yardman Landscaping, servicing Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island.
And in lap number 202, it's Duke's Yardsman's Landscaping, serving Connecticut, Mass, and Rhode Island. Lap number 204, Extreme Racing, in memory of John and Betty Corliss. Lap number 206, that is sponsored by Waddell Communications. Lap 209, in memory of Jim Morissette. And Falcone Energy will be sponsoring lap 210, lap 215, Matthews Truck Service, and lap number 220, Falcone Energy, as our cars start to move again. And we still have an issue on the backstretch with Sapienza, so we'll continue our rundown of our lap sponsors. 222 for TRIC Mobile RV Services of Holden, Mass. 224 NP Trucking and Nathan Pitko. 225 Brookside Equipment Sales. 226 Teddy Hodgson Racing. 230 Falcone Energy. Lap number 233 Good Luck BRE Racing from Gomer's Trucking. 235 Randstrom's Communication Center from Worcester. Lap number 236 Waddell Communications. 240 Falcone Energy, your home comfort expert since 1935. Stains Appliance, sponsored 248. And Pastriac Asphalt, 250.
And while they continue to clean up, we've gotten through.
Almost. We're up to lap number 251.
That's right. And 251 is Yosh Hartwell Motorsports, 255. Pastriac Asphalt, 256, in memory of Fred Streb. 257, the Payne family. 258, Goody Motorsports. Lap 260 is sponsored by Cape Towing and Salvage. Lap 266, Waddell Communications, Racing Electronics. Lap 268, Interstate Transmission of Auburn, Mass. Lap 272, TRIC Mobile RV Services of Holden, Mass. Lap 275, Brookside Equipment Sales, Construction and Equipment Trucks. Matthews Truck Service of Sterling, Mass. has lap 280. Fuller Performance and Fabrication, lap 284. Lap 285, Spectrum Performance. Lap 291, in memory of Jim Morissette. Lap 296, Waddell Communications, Racing Electronics. Lap 297, in memory of Stanley Staukas. Lap 298, MAR Chassis Works. Lap 299, in memory of Bill Cummins and the number 99 from Family and Friends. And lap 300, in memory of Jim Morissette.
And we would like to thank all our lap sponsors. When the entrance to the pits was still closed, Anthony Cecily made a pit stop. When it opened, it was the 23 of John Montesanto, and that has been it. Kind of deserted on pit road during our lap 101 stop. And the next time we will have an automatic caution will be on lap number 176, unless we get a yellow flag between now and then.
I just want to mention, we've been talking about all those sponsors. They all put up $50. Every time we mention their name, it's another $50 that goes to that lap, and the leader of that lap gets the $50.
So I think maybe John McKennedy has gotten the most money so far, but Mike Christopher has been getting the recent cash, and Ron Selk will accompany him in the front row. Bonsignor and Nacella in the second row, and it is party time. In the 300, a little wiggle by Christopher, but it doesn't stop his momentum.
Green flag sends him down into turn one. Christopher out in front. Now a good battle between Silk and Bonsignor for second spot. Anthony Nocella on the move in the number 92.
Those tires got a little itchy for Christopher on that restart, and now he is pulling away from Silk on the inside, just in Bonsignor. It has been very tricky to pass it that way. Nacella trying to get him back on the outside, and Nacella breezes by Bonsignor. Here comes Silk, going for the lead.
Yeah, Silk wants a piece of that prize money for the sponsored laps, as he'll lead lap number 103 across the stripe. Silk is the new leader, but not for long. Look at the move by Anthony Nocella down on the inside. So Nocella is the new leader on the backstretch.
Nacella saw the opening when Silk took the lead, and it's Nacella to lead this race for the first time for him. Bonsignor in fourth, Kraus on the bottom. Well, some drivers have had a lot of success there. Craig Lutz trying to swerve around him. Then it's John McKennedy running in seventh. And if we learned anything through the first 104 laps of this race, is to pay close attention to John McKennedy.
Yeah, he's methodically working his way back towards the front.
And right now, a double file battle in front of him. So kind of bottled up right now is McKennedy. Nacella pulling away from Silk. Christopher, who had the lead, dropped back to third. And right now, McKennedy getting by Lutz, going after Kraus. Not that time.
Yeah, he's down on the bottom. Now he is clear of Lutz and will stick the nose down underneath Andrew Kraus going down into turn three. Can't quite make the pass through the middle of the turn, but as he gets back on the throttle, he is clear of Kraus and picks up a position.
So McKennedy picking up 2 spots since the yellow came out on lap number 101. Bonsignor working on Mike Christopher. Here he comes as he tries to thunder his way underneath the 7 car. Now McKennedy is a factor as third, fourth, and fifth can fit in an Easter egg. Refusing to crack under the pressure is Mike Christopher.
Meanwhile, up front, the Ant-Man, Anthony Nocella, continues to march away from the rest of the field. He's got himself a good, comfortable lead right now, and the last couple of times has turned in the fastest lap out there.
And it is tight for third and fourth between Christopher and McKennedy. So McKennedy has been able to pass very successfully on the inside. He is going to try to pull it off there as they come out the other side of turn number 4. It is John McKennedy in third place.
Yeah, McKennedy again mounting that march back to the front. He'll go to work on Ron Silk this time.
Has picked up 4 spots in the last 9 laps. Bonsignor, he is working against Mike Christopher, and he is going to bombard his way underneath the 7 car. Andrew Kraus refuses to wilt, and he is still in the upper portion of the field. Behind him is Goodale. Then Keith Rocco making a move in 8th and Lutz in 9th. And Anthony DeSella, he looks very comfortable in the lead.
Yeah, he continues to show the way around, but John McKennedy is on a tear to try and catch him. In fact, McKennedy almost 0.3 of a second faster that last lap. So he has evaporated the Nocella lead and now is within a car length as they cross the stripe on lap 113.
0.183 seconds, the advantage for Nocella. McKennedy has done a lot of his work in turn number 3, and he goes to work there and makes it look easy.
Yeah, he just dive bombed right to the bottom, drove by Nocella, slid up in front of him, and is the new leader on lap 114.
Boy, he wants lap money, doesn't he? As he is back in front on lap number 101, when the green flag came back out, he was in 7th place. So in 13 laps, he gained 7 positions.
We talked about this before, that in the last open modified Wednesday night race here at Thompson, McKennedy was the class of the field. We saw this then also, where he marched to the front and was so solid in the front. Then a mistimed pit stop. He didn't come when the other cars came to change tires, had to come later, and then never made up the difference. So
and this was different strategy so far today.
Yeah, so let's see what this strategy turns out to be here this afternoon.
And he actually made that extra pit stop when some of the front runners did not come in. And he has a substantial lead over Nocella, with Silk, who has been in the top 5 all day, in third, followed by Bonsignor. Now Kobe trying to move up. Remember, Kobe got a piece of that altercation on lap number 101. Almost got underneath Tommy Barrett, but couldn't complete the move. So Kobe has had a lot of experience in these long races. And Barrett is going after Craig Lutz, and that is a fight for the number 9 position. Mike Christopher in 8th, and we have yellow.
Got a spin over here in turn 4. It's Anthony Cecily around in the number 44. So the caution flag comes out at lap 118.
Now we'll see if anybody comes in. Remember, the last time drivers like Mike Christopher and Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignor pitted was on lap number 53. So that was, 65 laps ago? So we might be seeing some of the guys like Christopher and Silk come in. So it'll be interesting to see. John McKennedy, of course, came in later than that, and he pitted on lap number 76 along with Kobe and Pastriak, and we'll see and Goodale. So it is strategy time, and one thing we anticipated in this race, we will have a lot of strategy. And Pete, the pits are open already on pit road, are Emmerling and Cecily, and we'll see if anybody is about to join them. And Nocella climbs down.
Definitely see some crews ready on pit road. And yeah, a lot of the front runners are going to come. But just as we were talking about the last time for the Outlaw Modifieds here, Thompson. John McKennedy did not elect to go this time. Anthony Nocella is in. Justin Bonsignor is in there, as is Matt Swanson. And Doug Kobe elects to go on to pit road. We'll see what happens. They're doing some fuel and working on the right side of most of those cars. Ron Silk is down and away, as is Justin Bonsignor. A good stop for him. The better stop was Andrew Kraus, who really, of the lead pack cars, is coming out first.
And Mike Christopher, his pit stall was almost in another time zone at the beginning of pit row underneath the Sunoco sign. So it was Nocella, Lutz, Kobe, Pasriak, also Swanson, Silk, Kobe, Bonsignor. Now, many of those drivers did not pit on lap number 76 when McKennedy pitted. So right now we have different pit stop cycles. As McKennedy, he pitted on lap number 76, and guys like Mike Christopher and Anthony Nocella, they pitted on lap number 118. So McKennedy will have 42 more laps of wear on his tires. Than some of his rivals will. So it's very interesting that different strategy, because not everybody is on the same pit cycle.
Well, it will be interesting to see for sure, as we're going to get ready to restart them with 118 laps complete. Field is doubled up behind the pace car as the lights go off, and we'll turn them loose again next time by.
And Anthony Cecily has had his headaches recently. He is at the rear of the field, and in front of it is John McKennedy, who is elected to restart on the outside. Remember, the leader has that option. And second is Goodale, and right behind him, Keith Rocco. He will restart on the inside. So Rocco is ready to go to work, but McKennedy is the guy everybody is paying attention to.
Green flag is back in the air for the restart, and McKennedy gets a great start, drives around Eric Goodale to get back into the lead.
Taking advantage of the outside opening, Tommy Barrett, as he trails Goodale. And now Rocco is jackknifing his way underneath Barrett to try to get back into third place. Ronnie Silk is in the top five, and Kraus is next, and McKennedy is starting to pull away again.
Starting to pull away, yeah. Silk is the first of the cars that pitted on that caution that just happened. Andrew Kraus right behind him was also on pit road, as was Matt Swanson and Justin Bonsignor. So that's the group of cars that just came off of pit road. And they're trying to advance at this point. There's a move by Barrett down on the inside of Rocco, the race for position of third.
Now, under fresh tires, Mike Christopher immediately went to the bottom to try to get by cars. He is now 10th, and Anthony Nocella, who had the lead before the pit stop, is 9th. I think with fresh tires, you can be a little more adventuresome on the inside groove than you can later on in the green flag run. Ronnie Silk, that's being aggressive as he gets into fourth place as he leaves Tommy Barrett by the wayside.
Yeah, he's the first of the cars that just pitted, and he gets around Tommy Barrett. Matt Swanson's trying it now in that number 3.
Swanson did pit, and he is able to get by Barrett, and moving there right with him is Bonsignor, car number 51. Bonsignor just came out of the pits. Now Nocella making a racket. He gets by Barrett, and he is going after Bonsignor, and what does McKennedy do? He just extends his lead to almost 1 second over Eric Goodale.
Yeah, Anthony Nocella is up to 7th, shuffling Tommy Barrett back to 8th. Now Mike Christopher is working him over.
And he went on the inside to get by Barrett, and Mike Christopher has moved into the 9th position. Craig Lutz, he is able to rabble-rouse his way underneath Barrett, looking for position. He takes a very interesting angle out of turn number 4, and he approaches the back bumper of Mike Christopher.
Rocco, meanwhile, puts the moves on Eric Goodale to take over the second spot. Goodale shuffled back to third, and just behind him, Ronnie Silk and Matt Swanson.
And both Silk and Swanson have fresher tires than Goodale and Rocco. Nisella has done a good job since the race resumed on lap number 118. And here is Bonsignor as he is able to stampede his way underneath Matt Swanson. And now he has to, Nisella is behind Swanson. Look at Bonsignor go as he wastes little time to get by Goodale, and now he's chasing after Ronnie Silk.
Yeah, Silk was all over Keith Rocco a lap ago, but now he's got to contend with Bonsignor, who's fighting him on the bottom.
And it is a pretty stiff fight. Bonsignor settles in behind the number 16 of Silk. We'll see if he makes another thrust. Rocco is in second, and here comes Silk. Silk might have felt the heat of Bonsignor, decides to take matters into his own hands as he is able to trampoline into second.
Yeah, makes one of those Keith Rocco moves on him and drives down underneath and slides back up in front. Bonsignor does the same thing going into one, so just like that, Rocco goes from second to fourth.
Yeah, the victim of a couple of Keith Rocco moves. Turned on Keith Rocco. Right behind him is Goodale. Nisella trying to squeeze in front of Mike Christopher, who swings it to the outside. So Christopher takes the scenic route, and now he is come back to earth. There's Nisella making a move against Goodale. He makes it work. He's going after Rocco. Could this be a double whammy for Anthony Nisella? And he has not given up to work against Rocco.
Yeah, drives down underneath, makes the pass, slides up in front of him out of turn 2.
And another Rocco move. So he's seen some of those, and he might see another one here from Mike Christopher, as Christopher is able to swoop underneath the 57, and he takes Craig Lutz with him. So the guys with the fresher tires who made the pit stop are moving up, but McKennedy still has the lead at last look. It was 1.1 second over Ron Silk. But the people who pitted on lap number 118, Pete, right now they have an advantage.
Well, and the fastest car on the racetrack right now is Ron Silk, as he's running almost a full tenth quicker than McKennedy, trying to track him down. And of course, McKennedy setting his own pace.
And it is a fast pace.
Yeah, he can pick it up any time. In fact, that last lap he just did, he was quicker than Silk. So with his spotter letting him know what kind of a lead he has and what kind of times the other cars are turning, he knows when to put a little more throttle to it.
Yeah, when he gets in the mood, he can put a nuclear lap on the board as he continues to lead by a wide margin over Ron Silk. As let's see exactly what it is as Silk crosses the line, and he is trailing by 1.4 seconds. So on that lap alone, the lead grew by 0.3 of a second.
So McKennedy knows when he has to, he can go to the afterburners and pick up a little more space between first and second.
Matt Swanson trying to make a move against Goodale. He is on the bottom of the track, and he has to retreat. Mike Christopher was in a pretty good battle with Craig Lutz. Lutz tried to jackhammer him down low, and Mike Christopher was not fooled. McKennedy trying to get by one of the slower cars, Buddy Charette, and he goes to the outside of him. So for the most part today, except for a couple double file runs in front of the leader, the slower cars have been cooperating with the front runners.
I'll tell you, the guy that has kind of fallen off the pace is Doug Colby back in 15th. He just hasn't been the same since that last set of pit stops, and lap times are nowhere near what the leaders are doing. Don't know whether that's strategy or an issue with the number 10. But
well, knowing how Colby usually races, I would think it would probably be an issue, as he was one of the crew that pitted on lap number 118. So only 32 or only 22 laps on those tires. And right now he is not looking very much like Doug Kobe.
No, as he is mired back in the 15th spot.
And Ron Silk is starting to cut into the advantage by McKennedy, as this time around it's 0.8 seconds. So he is shaved about a half a second off the advantage of McKennedy. And once again, you don't know if McKennedy is toying with him or going full out. McKennedy last got tires on lap number 76.
Well, let's see how the times are this time. Yeah, Ron Silk definitely faster. And at this point, Silk is able to close once again. We'll have to see when he come around this time to complete 143 laps.
Nisella trying to get claustrophobia to Monsignor.
McKennedy with a 19.65 and Silk with a 19.61. So, yeah, a little bit quicker, and the tires could be making a difference at this point.
And Silk watches as McKennedy goes by the number 4 of Anglaise. And a good battle for third and fourth between Bonsignor and Nisella. Now a distant fifth is Lutz, and Rocco and Mike Christopher deeper in the field. Kraus going underneath Mike Christopher as he is trying to twist underneath that car. And the excavation move does not work. And Kraus falls in behind Mike Christopher.
After being involved in that skirmish on the backstretch, Chris Pastriak's got a pretty good run going. He's up inside the top 10 in the 75 and keeping a pretty good pace at this point.
And Swanson and Goodale behind him. So the lead between McKennedy and Silk is now 0.473. And a few laps ago, it was 1.473 or in that neighborhood. Now the next, we're on the same wavelength.
That's right. The next guy in danger going down the lap is Doug Kobe, as the leader, John McKennedy, is really closing on him. Kobe goes across the stripe right now, and then there goes Kennedy. So McKennedy is closing on him.
And that is not what I was going to say. The next yellow flag, if we don't have a natural one, it would be on lap number 176.
Passing flag is out for Doug Kobe as McKennedy has caught him and about to put him down a lap. So something amiss on that Mayhew Tools number 10 as he gets passed by both McKennedy and Ron Silk. Cross flags are in the air this lap. 150 down, 150 down, 150 to go in the Thompson 300.
And Ron Silk is only trailing by 0.165. So a tenth and a half. The gap between first and second. It is even closer than that now as trying to blast his way underneath McKennedy. Ronnie Silk going for the lead.
And he gets it done going down into turn one. Gets underneath McKennedy. Then drifts up in front of him just in time to go around the lap car of Buddy Charette.
And that was a Cindy Burdick lap that Silk led, lap number 151. And McKennedy now might have issues between him and Bonsignor and Nisella. Remember, it's been a long time between fresh rubber for John McKennedy. And now Silk is going after Andrew Moeller, trying to put him another lap down. So Ron Silk, eventually those tires started to come to his rescue.
Yeah, and it'll be a while for McKennedy unless we get a natural caution out there, because the competition caution, if you will, won't come out to lap 193. So he's got to go about another 39 laps on the tires that he's got.
And Zentik comes onto pit road. That's been a frequent sight today. Here comes Nisella as he is able to make a move underneath Andrew Moeller, who is 2 laps down. The cars on the lead lap There are, our count is 14. Patrick Emmerling is the last car on the lead lap. And Emmerling crosses a line now, and not very far away is Ron Silk.
He's done well to stay on the lead lap after being involved again in that accident on the backstretch, and on and off of pit road a couple of times since then. So he's done well to stay on the lead lap for sure. Silk in a comfortable lead now, coming off the fourth turn to complete 157 laps. McKennedy is in danger of being passed by Justin Bonsignor.
But that car getting loose for McKennedy, little twitch. So that could give Bonsignor an advantage, and it could mean that McKennedy is out of rubber and is looking for a yellow flag. Here comes Bonsignor, and not a smooth exit off of turn number 4 for McKennedy, and Bonsignor makes him pay.
Well, McKennedy knows he's got a fast car if he can stay up there within the top 5, and he gets that caution that he needs and comes to pit road, because I think with the length of this green flag run, just about everybody will come. So we'll have to see, but we're at it'll be lap 160 next time by, meaning we've got 33 laps till the competition caution, unless something happens between then. And certainly John McKennedy does not want to be the caution. And you're right about the twitching the car does, as you saw him bounce around a little bit, getting passed by Anthony Nocella that time.
As we call it, a caffeine twitch. And that is a malady that McKennedy faces. There has been nothing sick about that number 16 car, except that it is wicked fast. And now he approaches Emmerling, trying to put him a lap down as he is closing in on the 1 car. And if that happens, there will be just 12 cars on the lead lap. Anthony Cecily will be the last lead lap car.
And there is Silk looking to the inside of Patrick Emmerling in the number 1, and dispatches of him quickly, putting him a lap down.
And he gets by Anglace again. So Ron Silk has done a lot of passing on the inside, and that has been very successful for a lot of drivers. Justin Bonsignor trailing by 1.3 seconds in second as he gets by Anglace. And now Emmerling is between he and Silk. Nocella is next. And also right there with him is the 79 of McKennedy. So McKennedy, well, we have a yellow. Lap number 163. And we'll see who goes in. I think at the top of the list, Pete, will be the 79 of McKennedy.
Well, we see a lot of the crews readying their pit stalls on pit road. You know, it's very tight down there on pit road from the last third of the pit stalls. So it'll be interesting as Buddy Charette sits facing sideways down there in turn 4, the cause of our caution flag on lap 163.
Now, many cars have already refueled on earlier pit stops. So Ron Silk came in the last time. We'll see if he does it again. And the red flag is still out. So the pits are not open. And I'm sure they will be the next time around.
Charette gets a shove from the tow truck and gets restarted. We'll rejoin the rear of the field as we are under caution. 163 laps complete of the Thompson 300. The culmination and highlight of the 59th Sunoco World Series of Racing here at Thompson.
And the first decision will go to Ron Silk. But these drivers are not on the same pit strategy. So McKennedy is due to come in. And let's see what transpires. As Silk says no, Bonsignor says no, Nocella says yes, and Mike Christopher said yes, and McKennedy said no.
Yeah, interesting. As now he is 2 pit stop opportunities off some of the rest of the field as we see 5 cars elect to stay out. And we've got a number of cars on pit road. Eric Goodale, Keith Rocco's in, so is Matt Swanson once again. Anthony Nocella getting some work done. Doug Kobe, we'll see if the problem is fixed for Kobe, who's gone a lap down. Mike Christopher, who came onto pit road, is now going to be the first to go back out and join the field. Next out is Rocco, followed by Matt Swanson off of pit road. Eric Goodale is down and away and will be next out of the pits. There goes Anthony Nocella. And finally, Doug Kobe is down off the jack and headed back out to this race surface.
Now, Goodale had not pitted since lap number 76. Kobe comes in, and Kraus is on his way out. So Nocella, one of the drivers, along with Swanson, Rocco, Goodale, Kraus, also Mike Christopher, and those are some of the cars that are taking advantage of this pit stop on lap number 163. And the surprising part of it was John McKennedy did not come in. Now, he has, believe, already pitted twice for tires. We'll see if what his game plan is. Remember, you can change 12 tires during the course of the race. And everybody still has tires left in the tire piggy bank. So the strategy of this race, obviously, John McKennedy is on a different strategy, a different wavelength than most of his rivals in this one. And we have seen it before this year, and it didn't work out when he did it on the final September race of the season. But we have seen him use the pit strategy to his favor a few times. So he is in the number 3 spot, Bonsignor, who did not come in, is second, and Silk, who did not come in, is first.
Going to double them up here for the restart.
Boy, 2 guys I think they're watching on this next green flag run will be Mike Christopher and Keith Rocco. We'll see if that's the case. Second half of the race should be a barn burner. And this has been a very competitive race so far. We've had several leaders: Ron Silk, Doug Kobe, John McKennedy, Anthony Nocella, and it is Silk leading now.
Green flag is back on the field. And Ron Silk will lead him down into turn 1. Justin Bonsignor will pull right up behind him for second. Then it's Craig Lutz for third. Here comes Mike Christopher with a head of steam on the backstretch. He gets around John McKennedy. McKennedy shuffled back to fifth. And now Chris Pastriak working the inside of McKennedy.
And Craig Lutz out in front of Christopher in the fight for third place. So the top 4 could fit in a lunchbox. The feast right now is enjoyed by Silk, but Justin Bonsignor, I wonder when he is going to try to bottom shot the number 16 car. It hasn't happened yet. And an even closer battle for third and fourth between Lutz and Mike Christopher.
And just behind them is Chris Pastriak, finally making the pass on John McKennedy. McKennedy now under attack from Anthony Nocella. Nocella, one of those cars that was just on pit road, keeps McKennedy on the high side and makes the pass, and while the bottom's open, here comes Doug Kobe.
I'm surprised that Rocco dropped back. Maybe that is part of his strategy. And it looks like Bonsignor is poised to strike like a cobra. Here he comes, down low, as he tries to thunder underneath Silk, and it doesn't pay off. We made a good shot, however. Mike Christopher, remember, he has fresher tires than the 2 guys in front of him. So we'll see if he can put those to use. And Bonsignor didn't go down to challenge Ron Silk. Pastriak is in 5th. And right behind him, Anthony Nocella and Doug Colby. Remember, we were talking about how he was struggling early on. It looked like that car has some vitality.
Yeah, but he needs to pass the leaders to get back on the lead lap. Kobe still scored in the 12th position, and we'll have to wait and see how he's able to do out there. But he's been kind of reborn, if you will, because that car has really come to life. Meanwhile, the car that has not come to life since the green flag is John McKennedy. He continues to be passed and keeps falling back on position, already back to 11th spot in that number 79.
And Doug Colby, 1 lap down, but he is the number 1 car that's a lap down. So if there's a yellow to come out and he doesn't pit, he would be eligible for the lucky dog. And Bonsignor, is this the shot for the lead that we are expecting? But the yellow beats him to the punch.
We got weather again on the racetrack. And it's going to bring out the caution flag once again. Lap 171.
So the rain has come to put a little pause into the action, and it came at a bad time for Bonsignor because he was ready to make a move. He had Silk lined up. Whether he would have been able to complete the move, nobody knows. But Bonsignor was going to try it, and the rain beat him to the punch. And we keep the cars on the track. So hopefully this will just be a slight delay. Mike Christopher in 3rd behind Silk and Bonsignor. Now the top 12, the cars on the lead lap, according to our scoring, and Kobe would be eligible for the lucky dog if he doesn't come in to a pit, and the pits are open now. Silk, Bonsignor, Christopher, Lutz, Nocella, Goodale, Kraus, Pastriak, Swanson, Rocco, McKennedy, and Kobe would be on the lead lap.
Well, coming to pit road is Tommy Barrett, also the 10 of Kobe. And here comes the 79 of John McKennedy. He is electing to come to pit road. Just a handful of laps since the last pit stop, or the last opportunity to come to the pits.
So only 5 cars are in. On one end of the pits are Charette and Montesanto. And on the opposite end, Kobe, McKennedy, and also Tommy Barrett, as right sides are being put on for McKennedy. And now they go to the opposite side of the car. And it looks like he is ready to leave.
Yeah, they did the work first on the left side, then they came over to the right. He pulls off of pit road. Buddy Charette going back out there, as is Doug Kobe.
So McKennedy now has fresh rubber, but not much fresher than the people who went in earlier on lap number 163. So he is only 8 laps of freshness on those tires compared to guys like Nocella and Swanson and Keith Rocco.
Get ready to turn him loose here once again. Signal from the flag stand. Brian Callen shows him the furled green, and the lights go off on the pace car. 171 laps in of the Thompson 300.
And Mike Christopher was fast before the caution came out, as he is perched on the inside. Bonsignor, it's been a long time since he has changed tires, So he is taking a gamble outside of Ron Silk. So very interesting strategy being played here now by Justin Bonsignor.
Here they come. Green flag.
Silk, the lightning bolt at the front of the field. Here comes Christopher inside of Bonsignor. He gets by him by a nostril. Now Nacella moving up into a strong fourth place position.
Yeah, Andrew Krause on the move down on the bottom as well. Look at those 4 cars going for the lead. 3 wide out of turn number 4.
And Nacella drops back a little. It was 3 wide between he, Christopher, and Silk. Now it is Silk reestablishing himself in front. Christopher to the inside of Bonsignor. Power move entering turn number 4 for the 7 car. And he just cannot get even with Bonsignor. The top 5 could fit in a hula hoop, and doing the dancing right now is Ron Silk.
Yeah, Silk out in front, but he's got plenty of company with him. Bonsignor right there. Christopher again trying it on the bottom. He's can't get up the racetrack because Anthony Nocella is there. Add Eric Goodale to the mix, and Andrew Krause right in the thick of things.
Yeah, Goodale stuffed it in underneath Krause. So he is trying to get into the top 5. Mike Christopher off the pace a little in the 4th spot. Going high, Bonsignor as 125 laps remaining, and Bonsignor is in front, and he had to work hard for that. Nacella gets by Silk to move into 2nd.
Yeah, Bonsignor now with a comfortable lead. Nocella in 2nd. Silk shuffled back to 3rd. Good run for Andrew Krause in the 4th spot. Now taking a look down underneath Silk to take that position away.
A better run for Kobe. Remember, he is scored on the lead lap, and he is currently in the number 6 position ahead of Christopher. He is going after Silk.
Yeah, and John McKennedy staging a comeback. He is right behind Kobe in that march to the front.
I haven't counted, but I think McKennedy has passed more cars than anybody in this race, and he is on the verge of passing another one as the 79 gets by Mike Christopher, and John McKennedy is in the top 7. Nacella making a move against Bonsignor, and also there is Krause, a rush by Goodale, but the guy who can keep an eye on McKennedy is now he gets ready to flex his muscles against Silk. He does it. McKennedy is in the top 6.
Yeah, McKennedy stages a great comeback after that caution. Silk, who was leading this thing strongly, is mired back now in the 7th spot. Behind him, Mike Christopher also, who had a great run to the front. So don't know whether that's strategy or where they're able to run at this point, but they are pretty well spread out further back. Up front, it's Bonsignor. He cannot shake the threat of Anthony Nocella, who looks to the bottom of the turn 4.
Rocco on a roll as he is trying to get underneath Mike Christopher. Doesn't do it. At the front, Bonsignor getting another threat from Nacella. Turn number 3 is when it might happen, and Bonsignor was ready for it. He pulls away, and the best battle now is between McKennedy in the 79 and the man in front of him, Doug Kobe, who is running 5th.
Yeah, McKennedy takes it down low into turn 1. Hangs tough right underneath Kobe on the backstretch. Meanwhile, Anthony Nocella takes a peek underneath Bonsignor and gets some speed in the middle of the turn, enough to make the pass. Anthony Nocella is back to the point.
For the second time today, Nacella in the lead. McKennedy was able to get by Kobe, so he is in 5th. And now the next car in front of him is Eric Goodale. Rocco trying again to get underneath Mike Christopher in a battle for 8th place. And he just doesn't have enough oomph to get by that number 7 car.
We talked about the speeds out there. The fastest lap last time was John McKennedy. Yeah, he has been fast all afternoon, but to make up that difference and get up on Goodale, he was better by almost a couple of tenths on the lap before the last one. So he is on a tear to get back to the front.
As McKennedy only has 14 laps, so work on those tires. Kraus going underneath Bonsignor as he tunnels underneath the 151. And the driver with the bounce to his step is Andrew Kraus. I think in second place. This is his best position so far in the race.
While the door was open, Eric Goodale walked right in underneath and the number 58 to pick up a spot. And here comes McKennedy. McKennedy makes a move underneath Bonsignor and goes to the fourth spot.
And Bonsignor is right underneath him at the front of the field, Anthony Nocella, but he is only leading by 0.2 of a second over Andrew Kraus. I don't think many people talked up Andrew Kraus as far as winning this race, but he is in the grill of Anthony Nocella.
Here comes Doug Colby now, making a pass on Justin Bonsignor. Those old foes duke it out for position, and Colby gets into the top 5.
McKennedy underneath Goodale. Can he make it stick as they are able to jackhammer their way off the corner? It is dead even right now heading into turn number 1, and McKennedy wins another battle.
Yeah, McKennedy goes to third. He'll try to track down Andrew Kraus and Anthony Nocella. As Kraus is all over the back bumper of Nocella in that battle for the lead.
And Goodale trying to pay back the number 79 of McKennedy. It is not happening. And Kraus, he is trailing by about the length of an ironing board over the 92 of Nocella. Ronnie Silk is running all by himself in the number 7 spot. And then a little more action is Rocco getting a threat from Moeller. Moeller is a couple of 4 laps down. So even though Moeller is trying to get by Rocco, the 35 is 4 laps down.
Check the lap times on these guys, and that time Andrew Kraus was the fastest. John McKennedy second fastest. So Kraus with a head of steam, just looking for that opportunity to get underneath Anthony Nocella. Maybe it's now. Here they come out of turn 4.
And Nocella is in a hurry.
Yeah, he's able.
Kraus is there trying to get some forward momentum, and Nocella is up to the task.
Yep, Kraus hanging down on the inside. This time Nocella protects the bottom out of turn 4 and leads another lap. Meanwhile, Kraus about to come under attack from John McKennedy.
And it's a pretty severe attack.
Yeah, look at the move by McKennedy. He drove in deep and gets underneath Kraus. It's a drag race down the backstretch, but McKennedy trying to dispatch of Kraus. He'll try it again out of turn 4.
Any deeper, McKennedy would have wound up at the Thompson Dam. Instead, he winds up in second, and now he'll be going after Nocella. Remember, Nocella pitted for tires on lap number 163, and McKennedy on lap number 171. It doesn't seem like there should be much of a difference, but let's see how it plays out.
McKennedy a little quicker than Nocella that time, and if that keeps up, he'll evaporate that lead that Nocella has. Nocella trying to get away, but McKennedy is able to crawl right back up to him and when they get into the turn. So McKennedy getting through the turn pretty well.
A solo mission for Doug Colby all by himself in 5th place. And then it is Bonsignor who has faded to 6th. And it looks like McKennedy, he is poised to strike as he wandered to the outside to get momentum against Nocella.
He is ready as he tries the bottom, and again, he does it. Drives in deep, almost 2 wheels in the infield, but he makes the pass, and McKennedy back to the lead. So maybe that strategy that we questioned about waiting 2 pit stops to come in and get tires is going to pay off for McKennedy, because we're just about to be 100 laps from the end, and McKennedy is back in the lead.
And he used a roller coaster move against Nocella. Now it is Kraus who has an opportunity to try it. Goodale is next, followed by Colby. But the 4 guys in contention right now, McKennedy, Nocella, Kraus, and Goodale. So it was only 8 laps fresher tires for McKennedy. but they work like a charm, and he is on the attack and ready to try to put Craig Lutz a lap down.
Yeah, there's a guy that we saw running in the top 5 most of the afternoon, and now he's going a lap down. McKennedy guides around the 0.6 of Craig Lutz to put him down a lap. Next in front is Matt Swanson, another guy who started out in the front, has not had the best of afternoons, and he's in danger of going down a lap now with 202 laps complete.
And Matt Swanson is in 10th place. So if McKennedy goes by him, we will have 9 drivers on the lead lap, and he is trying to go around him. McKennedy has done most of his passing today on the inside, but he makes it look easy on the outside as he cruises by Swanson. The car's on the lead lap. McKennedy, Kraus, Nisella, Goodale, Colby, Bonsignor, Silk, Rocco, and Mike Christopher.
Boy, what a move Andrew Kraus just made. They split the lap car of Matt Swanson. Nocello went to high, hoping to use Swanson as a pick, and Kraus drove down underneath Swanson and stayed right with Nocella. That's a great battle for second. Nocella, Kraus, and Eric Goodale all right there.
And now Colby trying to get underneath Swanson. Here is Kraus as he swashbuckles his way underneath Nocella. Kraus is back in second. Let's see how long he can keep it, because Nocella, he is flash dancing his way on the outside, getting around Goodale. Kraus in second, and Goodale trying to invade the top 3, and he does.
Yeah, Goodale made a great move there. Just stuck it right into turn 3 and was able to make the pass on Nocella. So Nocella, leading just not all that long ago, is shuffled back to the 4th spot. Kobe is 5th. Bonsignor is 6th.
Now the next mandatory pit stop, lap 246, if we don't have a yellow flag between now and then.
Got 246, right?
So it is John McKennedy racking up some dollars for lap money. Each lap that is sponsored goes to the leader for $50. And now Lutz a little deeper in the field, off the lead lap, and he relinquishes a spot to Moeller.
That would obviously be the final guarantee.
Okay, if we get to lap 246 without a caution flag in between, that will be the last automatic yellow, and then we will play it out for the last 54 laps.
Well, we're just about to turn 210 here, and 90 laps to go in the Thompson 300.
And we have had a variety of leaders in this one, but the most persistent has been John McKennedy.
Caution for a spin by Craig Lutz out of turn 4. The 0.6 comes around, and there's a caution at 2:09.
And we will see when the pits open who will take advantage of that situation. And we have learned today that you really can't predict what is going to happen. The red flag is out there now, and it will soon turn to green. And
No more guaranteed yellows from this point.
so with the lap 209, that is no more guaranteed yellows. So now the only yellows you see will be caused by action on the track, because it is 209. If you add 75 to that, it would be 284. And the last time, lap 275 was the limit for guaranteed yellows. So we are going to,
So the question is
it'll
going
be
to
the
be,
circumstances on the track that will create all the yellows.
yeah, so the strategy here will be, do you come now just in case we go all the way to the end, or do you plan on maybe another yellow? There will not be another competition yellow, and actually we haven't had to use one here today, so this will be it. We could go all the way to the end. We'll see what everybody's going to do. The pits are now open as the green flag is waved over there at the entrance to the pit area, And we'll see what we have for takers. Doug
Well,
Kobe.
Goodale had a good fake out.
Yeah, Kobe will be one of them. Bonsignor will be another. Ron Silk comes to pit road. Keith Rocco does. So does Chris Pastriak. And the car that spun, Craig Lutz, comes onto pit road, as does Matt Swanson in the number 3. So we'll see how this plays out.
And you would think with 91 laps to go, you would have at least one more caution, but there are no guarantees. McKennedy stays out, Kraus stays out, and Goodale, it looked like he was coming in. That was a pretty good hip check as he was able to stay out. Now coming in is Moeller. He is 4 laps down.
Mike Christopher came in and is back out. So he is the first of the cars that pitted on this lap, and he rejoins. Now,
Bonsignor came in.
yeah, Moeller on his way out. Bonsignor headed out. Keith Rocco back on the track. Here comes Pastriak, followed by Matt Swanson and Doug Kobe.
Okay, the cars that stayed out, McKennedy, Kraus, Goodale, and then Nacella, and then I think Christopher is the first car that pitted, and he is in 5th. And Bonsignor, what does he have planned? He squeezes into 6.
With Keith Rocco right behind him, and then Chris Pastriak will follow, along with Doug Kobe and Ron Silk.
Now, McKennedy pitted for tires on lap number 171. So that means he will have 38 laps more of a use than the guys who have just changed. It's been a long time since we had a 300. Not used to doing all this arithmetic, but the advantage as far as fresh rubber is concerned right now will go to drivers like Christopher and Bonsignor and Rocco. And Rocco, we have expected him all day to make a move on one of these restarts, but he hasn't done it yet. Most of the time he has dropped back a few spaces, but now that we are within 100 laps of the finish, 91 to go, maybe Rocco will change his mindset.
Well, they'll get him doubled up for the restart here as the lights go off on the pace car. McKennedy will restart on the outside with Andrew Kraus on the bottom.
Well, Andrew Kraus, he has fought for 209 laps, as he has not taken any siesta laps. A great performance by him, but he has guys with new shoes behind him. We'll see how that plays out. McKennedy is elected to restart on the inside. Kraus underneath him as we are ready to light the fuse.
Green flag is in the air, and McKennedy gets another rocket-like launch at the green flag to lead him down into turn 1. Kraus holds on to second, and a side-by-side battle for third between Anthony Nocella and Eric Goodale.
Trouble for Christopher. He is dropping back through the field. A little contact between he and Barrett. Christopher goes on to pit road. He is out of the race for the time being.
Yeah, tough break there as something amiss on the 7 New York. So he ends up going back to his pit stall, and they'll look the car over there jacking up the back of it right now. Meanwhile,
Bonsignor on a tear in the 51.
yeah, he's right there in the back of Eric Goodale, and here comes Doug Kobe working over Anthony Nocella. Kobe makes the pass.
And now here is Goodale under siege. Bonsignor, as he whiplashes his way underneath the 58, he infiltrates the top 3. Kobe is behind him, and Goodale trying to stay with him.
Yeah, Goodale trying to fight both of them off at the same time. But there's 2 stars of the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour running right together. Justin Bonsignor and the number 10 of Doug Kobe.
The interval between McKennedy and Kraus is 0.8. Between McKennedy and Bonsignor, 1.0.
Here comes Bonsignor now with a move on Kraus. Down on the inside. He will take the spot. And also moving to the inside, Doug Kobe. Kobe's really come to life in that Mayhew Tools number 10, and he moves up to the third spot.
Yeah, he bazookas his way underneath Kraus, so he is back into third. Now Rocco on the attack underneath Kraus. So this is the first time for an extended period of time we have seen Keith Rocco act like Keith Rocco. Most of the time after the yellows, he is dropped back. Ron Silk almost made it 3 wide.
Yeah, some of these guys that came in for the pit stops are benefiting with this new rubber at this point.
Silk was one of those drivers who came in, and Goodale was one of those guys who stayed out.
Lap time shows Doug Kobe the fastest last lap, then Justin Bonsignor, followed by John McKennedy. Yeah, they are making up some time right now, Bonsignor and Kobe. Trouble up here in turn number 4. Looks like it could be Eric Goodale up against the wall, right, coming out of turn number 4. And yeah, we get another caution flag at lap 216.
So there is Mike Christopher on pit road as he has left his pit stall, and it looks like he is headed back out onto the track. But Eric Goodale was a long time for pit stops for him. Now, lap number 216. Can you survive the rest of the race without pitting for tires? As Kobe and company came in on lap number 209. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as Will McKennedy come in. It is time to find out. As the green flag is out, the pits are open. And McKennedy does not go near the entrance to pit road.
Yeah, most
so no takers.
Yeah, they
now here's a couple of guys coming in.
Craig Lutz is coming in, as is Tommy Barrett.
But Barrett's been on pit road a lot today.
And the 16 of Silk is out there. Here's the damaged Eric Goodale, number 58, as he shot up the racetrack and got into the outside retaining wall right up there in the 4th turn, and that's a tough break.
Now McKennedy and came in on lap number 171. So you would figure they need at least one more pit stop, that they wouldn't be able to finish the race on tires for 129 laps. But now Nacella comes in car number 92. So Anthony Nacella parks it in his stall, and they are going to the right rear.
Yeah, they got the jack under it. They're putting some fuel in the 92.
So Nacella didn't look like he was going to come in, but he did. The right rear is one of the tires which they changed, and he is back out. And with 84 laps to go, he has plenty of time to get back into the front. As Ted Christopher used to estimate, he said on most times he needed about 30 laps to get from the back to the front. So Nacella, if he has a good enough car, will have plenty of laps in which to make his moves.
Well, now we have Justin Bonsignor lining up next to John McKennedy. Doug Kobe, who had gotten a lap down, seems not all that long ago, restarts in the 3rd spot. And Keith Rocco, who's found some speed here in the last third of the race, will restart in 4th.
Now, it was Bonsignor pitting for tires on lap 209. McKennedy on lap 171. There is McKennedy on the outside, and he is going to whirlwind his way into the lead. And second is up for grabs. Silk is right there with Bonsignor, and also moving up is Kobe. We have the top 4 cars who could fit in a Dixie Cup in a nipper bottle, and trying to nip away at Bonsignor is McKennedy.
Yeah, McKennedy trying to hold him off, but Bonsignor too strong down there on the bottom. Takes the lead. McKennedy shuffled back to second, and here's Keith Rocco in third.
And Rocco looking for downstairs move against McKennedy. Not there. Rocco played the waiting game for the first 200 laps, but he is active right now. Leading in 5th place is Silk, and then it is Kraus, and Silk getting by Moeller, who is not on the lead lap. The leader, the bandwagon, is Justin Bonsignor, and right behind him is the 79er McKennedy, under attack by Keith Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco made the pass, and he's going to try it again, just like he did last lap. Pull up in front of McKennedy. McKennedy almost has to wait a second before getting back in the throttle. Last time, McKennedy just pulled down and scooted right past Rocco, but this time Rocco will hold the position. He is in second now and chasing Justin Bonsignor.
Rocco doesn't like to be scooted past, and he is holding on to second. But while McKennedy and Rocco and Kobe battle each other, Bonsignor has opened up a lead of almost 0.7 of a second.
Kobe, meanwhile, looking for some running room. He took a peek outside of McKennedy, that time out of turn 2, but falls back in line to 3 of those cars, second, third, fourth, nose to tail.
And it is Rocco. He is the nose, and the tail is Kobe, and in the middle is McKennedy. And Bonsignor continues to expand his lead to about 0.7 of a second. Ronnie Silk is 5th. Kobe making a move against Rocco. He gets under him, trying to twist under the number 57. He comes up with air, and Rocco maintains second. Kobe is after him again, and add to the equation John McKennedy. So a double file battle behind Keith Rocco, surrounded by the enemy.
Yeah, Doug Kobe able to get around John McKennedy and take the spot away. He goes to third. McKennedy shuffled back to the 4th spot.
And Pete, while those 2-3 guys are battling each other, look at Ron Silk. He was far away a couple of laps ago, and now he is about to join the hunt for second place.
Yeah, Silk gets back into the picture, and Kobe goes to work on Keith Rocco. This will be classic down into turn 1. Kobe makes the move, slides up in front of Rocco, and takes over the spots. Kobe goes to second, Rocco third, McKennedy is 4th, Ron Silk is 5th, Chris Pastriak is 6th, Andrew Kraus is 7th, Anthony Nocella is 8th. He's been unable to come back since that pit stop that he just made.
And Bonsignor is leading by 1.139. So almost a second and a half advantage for Justin Bonsignor. And Nocella is mired in 8th place. Kraus is the lead lap driver in front of him. So he's got a long way to go to catch up to Kraus. Rocco in 3rd. McKennedy, he is getting ready to give him something to think about. And Ronnie Silk is crowding him for the number 5 spot. Kennedy almost went out of line. Made a lot of moves tonight with that springboard move underneath, going down low and coming up and getting the bottom shot move. Kobe's deficit to Bonsignor, it's almost as big as a debt ceiling, 1.12 seconds.
Well, for a couple of laps, Kobe had been faster than Bonsignor, but that time Bonsignor was a bit quicker. And, of course, both of those guys going faster than Keith Rocco and John McKennedy, at least according to the clock.
So we have 11 cars on the track. Matt Swanson trying to get underneath the 92 of Nocella. And it looks like Matt Swanson, who is in the 9th position, is about, well, almost moved into 8th. And Nocella had a little extra energy to throw at him. Bonsignor getting by one of the slower cars. His lead is now 1.552.
Still a great battle further back for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Silk now taking a run on John McKennedy, trying to make the pass on the inside. They've got to ease their way around a lap car there. Yes, and like a pick, McKennedy's able to pin Silk behind that lap car and hold on to the spot.
And there are not too many lap cars left in this race. Kraus, he is in the number 7 position, and he's just coming across the line now to finish lap 233. And Tommy Barrett has been a survivor. Barrett in car number 4, and he is not on the lead lap. So Tommy Barrett is in 10th, and he is 2 laps down.
Here comes Silk with another run under John McKennedy. That race for the 4th spot can't quite make the pass as McKennedy holds him off once again. They're both chasing Keith Rocco, who's put a little breathing room between himself and McKennedy, at least for the moment.
Remember, these drivers have had a lot of stress on those tires, but we have not had a caution for a while.
Now we do, as we got a spin, and that's Anthony Nocella that's come around over in turn number 2.
Boy, that did the trick, didn't it?
Bring out another caution. And Nocella, who did not get back up to speed, I mean, he was leading this thing, but after that late pit stop at the last caution, he was not able to get back to the kind of speed that he had before, and something maybe amiss on the car as he spins out of turn 2. So we'll see what happens here as they fall into line behind the pace car. 236 laps complete of the Thompson 300.
Now, McKennedy has had 65 laps on those tires. So we'll see if he comes in.
We get
there he is, John McKennedy on pit road.
Well, one of the issues he has is that the spoiler seems to be broken and has been flapping around out there. We'll see if they take a look at it. But an issue we understand from the Speed 51 crew has told us that they're going to have to look at the back of McKennedy's car. They're going to go for tires on there right now anyway. While he's on pit road, Anthony Nocella is down there again. We know that McKennedy has had some speed here today. We'll have to wait and see as they've done the service to the tires on the right side. Now they work on the left.
Kraus is also in. He was one of the lead lap cars. He comes out, but McKennedy beats him to the exit ramp. So we have 64 laps remaining, and McKennedy just had 65 laps on those tires, so he should be able to finish. But will that be the case for guys like Bonsignor and Silk and Rocco? It will be a very interesting proposition.
An extended stop for Anthony Nocella. He will rejoin the field. Matt Swanson ducked in here towards the end of this caution period, back onto pit road.
Boy, that car for Nocella has not been right since about lap 200.
Well, we'll see what happens after this stop as Swanson came in. Didn't make a lot of changes, but they had a good look at the number 3. So they are racked up and ready to go, and we're going to restart them again. We're working lap number 236 of the Thompson 300. Justin Bonsignor has been leading, but Doug Kobe was trying to catch him. We'll see what happens here. This is a classic Thompson restart with Kobe and Bonsignor starting side by side on the restart.
A classic Northeastern restart, because those guys have done a lot all over the East Coast, from Richmond to Thompson, and they're going to do it again here. Bonsignor elects to go on the outside. Let's see if he gets some giddy up there. And Kobe is in danger of falling to third, and he does as Silk gets by him, as well as Bonsignor.
Yeah, Silk got by as Bonsignor got a great start and rockets back to the lead. Silk gives chase in the number 16. Here is Kobe in the third spot, Rocco fourth, McKennedy is fifth.
So McKennedy is right in the mix going after Rocco, and Bonsignor trying to pull away from the combination of Silk and Kobe. Kraus making a move. Remember, he has fresh rubber on that car, and he used it to somersault his way past Pastriak.
This time, Bonsignor can't seem to get away and open the lead that he had before. Silk is stalking him, and Kobe right on the back bumper of Silk. Those three have broken away from Rocco and the rest of the pack.
And Kobe is waiting for Silk to have a starter step. We have a yellow, and it is John Montesanto, the Count. He is in John Deere country, adjacent to the front straightaway, and his tires are pointed in the wrong directions. So John Montesanto brings out another caution. It comes with 61 laps to go. So that was a 3-lap green flag run, and Swanson immediately goes on to pit road.
Yeah, they were having a good look at it.
I am 5150.
I have the power to choose my own path.
When you're 5150, you choose to stand out.
You choose to believe in yourself and trust your strength will carry you through.
Choose to strive for greatness.
Choose to do good.
And help make the world a better place.
Choose to be passionate enough to chase your dreams.
I
am 5150.
Rhino Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
Do your homework or don't do it at all.
Like Buddy, but there's things about Buddy that we don't like too.
I love everything you guys do for short track racing.
Are we being harsh? Sure, we're being hard.
Ready to take your brand to the next level? At Victory Lane Design, we can help. If you are looking for a professional website, cutting-edge logo, a hero card that separates you from the pack, or video production to keep you connected with your fans, then check out VictoryLaneDesign.com, where winning counts.
That car.
Well, we're going to find out here in a short time because the lights are already off on the pace car, and we get ready to restart them with just 61 laps to go.
Now, Bonsignor has picked the inside for most of the race today on the restarts. When he has had the lead, he has gone outside. So a change of strategy here for Justin Bonsignor.
Green flag for the restart, and Bonsignor gets a good jump.
I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, gets away from Ron Silk, but here comes Doug Colby going in deep into turn one, trying to stay with Silk in that race for second. Here's Rocco up on the outside, and Kraus works the outside of John McKennedy.
Kraus trying to follow Keith Rocco. That might be a pretty good plan. McKennedy underneath the two cars. Bonsignor reasserts himself into the lead with Silk in second, but the best battle for third and fourth. Rocco lunging past McKennedy. McKennedy makes a counter move as they barrel their way across the line. It's John McKennedy who has worked his way back into fourth.
Yeah, McKennedy on the move, gets around Rocco. Now while the doors open on the bottom, here comes Andrew Kraus, trying to make a move to pick up a spot from Rocco. Meanwhile, Doug Colby right on the back bumper of Silk's number 16. That is the race for second spot.
And Kraus trying to scalpel his way underneath Rocco. He has a half a car length advantage. Now make it 3/4 of a car and the full car. Kraus is in the top five.
And Colby got around Silk to take over the second spot. Now Silk under attack from John McKennedy. McKennedy makes the pass and slides up in front of Silk. So McKennedy back up to third.
And Silk might be running out of rubber in the 16 car. He has to worry about Kraus up at the front. Doug Colby. He spent the middle part of the race loitering in the middle of the field. And right now, he is trying to derail the number 51 of Bonsignor. Remember, at one time in this race, Doug Colby was a lap down.
Yeah, and he was able to get that lucky dog and make it back up. Let's check the lap times right now. And yeah, Colby a little bit quicker than Bonsignor that time. And McKennedy, the third fastest on that last lap. So McKennedy's going to have to turn the wick up if he's going to catch those guys and get into a battle for the lead.
And then it is Silk followed by Kraus to round out the top five. And Rocco having a pretty good battle with Chris Pastriak. That is a fight for the number 6 position. And it is Bonsignor. He has led a lot of laps recently. And he is leading by about the length of a diving board over the number 10 of Colby. And McKennedy, as you said, he has to turn the wick up. Well, one thing we know about McKennedy, he has a pretty big wick.
For sure, and he was the quickest on the last lap. We'll check the times once again. And he's quickest among the top 3 on that lap. But again, he's got some real estate to cover. If he's going to get up and duke it out with those guys, he's got just another 51 laps to go right now as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time. If he's got the car, he's got the laps, and he will get an advantage.
Caution is out for Chris Pastriak. Spun around here out of turn 4. So we're under yellow once again, and that will close up the field.
He was fighting with Rocco for the number 6 position when the yellow came out. Lap number 248. If cars have tires left in their inventory, will they make a move now? 52 laps to go. And the guys at the front of the field, Bonsignor and Colby, have been pretty powerful. Bonsignor and Colby have not pitted for tires in a while. So we'll see if anybody elects to gamble as a green flag is out there on the entrance and pit row. It looks like Bonsignor is coming in. So the leader will pit for tires with 52 laps to go, followed by Colby and Silk.
They're going to come on to pit road. John McKennedy will stay out. Andrew Kraus will stay out, as will Keith Rocco. So this will make it interesting with only 52 laps to go.
And remember, because there are only about 11 cars left, that it won't be as difficult to go from the rear of the field to the contention as it sometimes is. So Bonsignor, and here comes Silk. He will be the first one out. Bonsignor, they are taking time there, and Bonsignor, he usually has one of the most efficient pit crews there, so they are taking their time and making sure that car is right for the stretch drive.
Yeah, a lot of running around there by the crew as they had the back of the car jacked up. Now they'll go to the right side. And, yeah, it's going to be right side rubber for the second half of the pit stop for Justin Bonsignor.
As they have confidence in this driver that he can navigate his way through the field. Remember, before the yellow came out, we had 11 cars left in the race. And of those cars, there were 10 on the lead lap. And Buddy Charette was one lap down.
A couple of the other cars that went on pit road are back out there. Matt Swanson in the 3, Chris Pastriak in the 75.
So 52 laps to go. Still a lot longer than our normal 30 lap Sunoco modified feature. And McKennedy has elected to restart on the outside. So we are ready to turn him loose. And McKennedy, he will know that some guys with fresh rubber are behind him. And we'll see what kind of impact that will make for the final 52 laps. So it is hold your breath time. Again, at the Thompson Speedway. Kraus, he might have surprised a lot of people today. Not if you were a Wall Stadium fan and saw him in action all season long. He gets off to a great start, but McKennedy gets off to a better start.
Yeah, McKennedy's been getting some great starts when he's starting up front like that, like he's shot out of a cannon, and it happens again. He wants to get out and get away. As he is in the lead, Kraus is in second. There's Tommy Barrett up there, along with Ron Silk and Keith Rocco.
And a crossover move by Silk to try to use it against Barrett, who is in the top 3. Barrett has made a lot of pit stops tonight. Keith Rocco going backwards in car number 57, and Bonsignor trying to get around him.
Yeah, and Kobe's trying to get around Barrett and Matt Swanson. This is all allowing the leaders to break away, including McKennedy. Kraus in second, Silk is third, Matt Swanson is fourth, Doug Kobe now to fifth, and Justin Bonsignor finally gets around Tommy Barrett to go to sixth.
Yeah, he was able to bury that car underneath the 4, and he is on the move, but nobody moving quicker than McKennedy. Matt Swanson, he is in the number 4 position, as he has been a lap down in this race. Right now getting a visit from Doug Kobe. So Old Blue is getting an intruder, Doug Kobe, and a healthy lead by McKennedy by almost a full second.
Here comes Silk down underneath Andrew Kraus, trying to take that second spot away. And he gets it. Kraus crossed up. He tried to go to the bottom, and Matt Swanson was there, so he had to get back up on the top pretty quick, and that blocks Doug Kobe from going forward. Here's Matt Swanson underneath Andrew Kraus.
And he also has to fight off Kobe.
Yeah, that's the race for third. And the 3 goes to third. Here's Kraus chopping it right back down again out of 4, trying to protect the bottom, but Doug Kobe is there.
Yeah, Kobe found room, and he is ready to trampoline his way underneath that number 24 car. Also still in contention. Making a move is Bonsignor. So Bonsignor, remember, they took a lot of time during their pit stop. Let's see what he can do against Kraus as he aims that car to the inside.
Here is Bonsignor with a move, going down underneath Andrew Kraus. Again, these are the cars with fresher tires from that last caution period.
You heard the swoosh.
Yeah, that went on to pit road. Yeah, you heard that pass, didn't you?
Yeah, as Bonsignor is in a hurry in the 5th place. McKennedy still leading by 0.7 of a second. And Silk is there. Silk has a great success at Thompson over the years. Clinched his Wheel and Tour championship here. And right now, he is getting a visit from Matt Swanson. Colby is there. So a lot of the All-Stars are running in the top 5, led by McKennedy.
Yeah, the fastest lap that time was Ron Silk. Silk, Swanson, also Kobe, all quicker that last lap than John McKennedy. So they're catching him with each lap. Only 41 to go.
But it is down to a half a second. So they have enough time if they have a good enough car. Nisella, he has been a survivor today. He is in front of Chris Pastriak. He is in 7th place. Tommy Barrett in 9th. And Silk has definitely made up the deficit. And Silk, he is in a rush, challenging McKennedy for the lead.
Yeah, he pulls right up on the back bumper of McKennedy, ready to give him a run for sure. They're all chasing that $20,000 prize, the winner of the Thompson 300.
And we still have 39 laps to go. So it is a lot of adventure remaining on the agenda. And the lead has shriveled to 0.2 of a second. And Matt Swanson, 21 years old, he is looking for the biggest win of his career.
Well, right now, John McKennedy on defense as he's protecting the bottom of the racetrack.
And sometimes that could be get a driver in trouble because Swanson, Kobe, and Bonsignor are definitely playing offense.
Well, when you're on defense, you can't really run the line that you're comfortable with. And McKennedy knows that Silk is right there. As far as the lap times go, McKennedy had a pretty good lap that time and now puts a little bit of distance between himself and Silk.
So Swanson holding off Kobe for the number 3 spot. Bonsignor in the neighborhood. Then we go back a ways to Kraus in 6, followed by Nisella and by Pastriak. But the plot thickens at the front of the field as every now and then Silk gets a little closer to McKennedy. Let's see what happens as they trample their way out of turn number 4. And McKennedy's lead is 0.3 of a second over Ron Silk.
And that last lap, their lap time was exactly the same, McKennedy and Silk. So McKennedy has found a little more speed here in the last couple of laps because Silk was having the faster laps. We'll check it this time by and see who's who. Silk just a tick faster on that last lap, but McKennedy is really pouring it on here.
And Silk trying to stay with McKennedy and is having a difficult time in doing that. Now Bonsignor close up the gap a little between he and Kobe, looking for room on the inside. So Bonsignor, after that pit stop, it really hasn't made that much difference in the number 51 car.
Well, you got to
maybe it'll start coming to him now.
I was going to say, you got to wonder whether he's going for that late race kick that he wants to pour on when we get down with about 20 to go. We got 31 left to the Thompson 300 right now.
Well, he got halfway underneath Kobe, then retreated. And I expect to see Bonsignor look like soda out of a shaken can before this race is over. Almost got underneath Kobe again. McKennedy's lead, still 0.3 of a second over Silk. 30 laps to go. And John McKennedy knows that, Kobe and Bonsignor, they can erupt at any moment. As you said, Pete, they might be saving their last hurrah for about 25 laps to go, and we're getting to that point.
We're getting there pretty quick, too. It'll be 28 this time by. as McKennedy continues to lead Silk. We'll check those lap times. And McKennedy definitely with a quicker lap the last time over Silk. And don't know whether that's strategy on Silk's part, hoping to put. And a caution is out. That's Keith Rocco around in turn 4.
And Rocco has struggled in the last 20 laps. I think in that last lap, McKennedy was faster than Silk, but Swanson and Kobe were faster than McKennedy. They ran laps in the 18-second range, and McKennedy was at 19.002. So we could have a caution that is tightening up the field. And will there be any last late strategy, not by McKennedy or Silk or Swanson or Kobe or Bonsignor, but by Kraus? He comes in. Also Barrett. He has probably been on pit road more than any driver who is still out on the track. And there is Rocco.
Well, Matt, you had said that this weekend has been drama-filled. We're getting to that point, too, as when we get back to green flag racing, we'll have 28 laps to go, and really anybody's race at this point.
Yeah, as Bonsignor and Kobe could have been playing the waiting game against McKennedy, and we will find the answer to that question very quickly, as this has been a strategy-filled race. We have seen great runs by McKennedy, by Ronnie Silk. Now, Matt Swanson has not been in the lead yet, but he is in a good position in the number 3 spot in the old blue. Matt Swanson kind of made a name for himself before he even went into stock cars. He was a very successful kart driver. Pastriak goes on pit road. And Swanson was another of those guys who said he really didn't know what the strategy was. It all depended how the race unfolded. So we'll see if he has a little bounce left in his step after 272 grueling laps. And we are about to get into double file formation, as McKennedy, as he has done throughout the race, has elected to restart on the outside of Ron Silk. Now, the only one who can dictate his starting lane is the leader. So Matt Swanson, he has to go to the inside, and Kobe to the outside. And that could be an advantage for Kobe if McKennedy goes quickly and Cape Canaverals his way into the lead. So a 28-lap scoot for the loot.
Yeah,
and there is a lot of loot.
Yeah, I was going to say $20,000 worth on the line to win the Thompson 300. It's all down to this. Here they come. Green flag.
McKennedy on schedule, gets by. Now Silk is getting challenged by Kobe. Kobe, a little forearm shiver to the back bumper, trying to give him room on the inside. Let's see if he comes. He does. Kobe trying to get into second. Silk hanging with him. They come off the corner. The dash for second is won by Silk.
Yeah, boy, Kobe got a little sideways there in the middle of the turn as he was a little too aggressive trying to get underneath Silk going into the turn. So it's all straightened out now, and they follow each other down the backstretch.
But it cost him a little bit of momentum. Swanson now in fourth, and he is getting a threat from Keith Rocco. Now Rocco just pitted, so he might have a little bit more ammunition than the 4 guys in front of him.
Here comes Silk sizing up McKennedy, trying to get the nose down underneath, and McKennedy will beat him down the front stretch.
Nacella in front of Bonsignor. So Nacella, that car didn't look right, but it is in contention in 6th place with 25 laps to go. Silk, do or die time for him. Make or break move on the inside. McKennedy able to hold him off.
For the time being anyway, Silk hangs tough and he drives in just a little bit deeper, but McKennedy decides he's going to come back to the bottom and try and take the lead back. He's going to shove Silk up to the outside. They're side by side here out of turn 4.
Silk got so deep he gave McKennedy too much room on the inside, and McKennedy exploited it. Now Kobe climbs to the outside. He is trying to figure out a way to get by Silk. The top 3 have pulled away slightly from Keith Rocco as they blister their way off turn number 4. McKennedy could be vulnerable on the inside to Ron Silk, and the yellow comes out as we have a problem with Nocella on the backstretch under the M in Thompson.
Yeah, a tough break for Anthony Nocella, who was coming on strong after that restart. But
You
now,
know, there have been some drivers who look like they have just been out of ammunition, and all of a sudden, Nocella did it, and Keith Rocco has just done it to come back from the graveyard and become a contender again. Andrew Kraus, this yellow could benefit him in the 24 car.
so the 92 will get pushed to pit road.
Well, we started with 25 cars. That was 278 laps ago. We are down to 10. And the first driver out, Chase Dowling. The second driver out was Ronnie Williams, some pretty good guys.
Here comes Justin Bonsignor onto pit road. Tommy Barrett again, Chris Pastriak, and Andrew Kraus on pit road. This is an interesting strategy now with only 22 laps to go.
Let's see what they do to Bonsignor. They lift up the rear. Now, do they have any change tires left in their arsenal? So they go to the right rear.
A little bit
And
of
they make some adjustments.
yeah,
for
air pressure adjustment out there, and they'll get him going again. So he needed a little more handle to complete his march to the front. So they'll get him doubled up here for the restart.
So no tire changes for Bonsignor, just that air pressure adjustment. And as you just pointed out, Pete, it means that he was not handling as well as he liked. And he really doesn't have anything to lose by making a pit stop with 22 laps to go, because going to the rear of the field here is late in the race. He is in the number 8 spot, so he is not very far away from the leader, John McKennedy, even after making the pit stop.
Pace car ducks down onto pit road, and we get ready for the restart. This time, Silk trying to hang with John McKennedy as the green flag goes back in the air.
He does hang with him. A mad dash into turn number 2. Ron Silk taking over the lead. Rocco in third. McKennedy, payback, hitting into turn number 3. McKennedy back in front.
Yeah, McKennedy dives down on the inside, gives Silk a little bit of a shove there out of turn number 4. Yeah, but Silk hanging tough there on the outside. McKennedy trying to clear him. Gets a little bit of trouble getting through the turn, but he does, and opens up a good-sized lead. Look at Rocco now with a move down underneath Ron Silk. Rocco goes to second.
Yeah, he was able to carve his way underneath Silk. Kobe in 4th in car number 10. And in 5th is Buddy Charette in car number 28. He was hanging around in 11th place for about the last 30 laps, and he has moved into the top 5.
Boy, how about Keith Rocco, who would love to make this a big payday for himself. He rides right on the back bumper of John McKennedy. Now looks to make one of his patented moves down into turn 3. He does, and McKennedy takes a left-hand turn and goes back by him.
And Silk now puts pressure on Rocco. So Rocco had the lead for about 2 seconds. McKennedy gets it back. What will Rocco do? He makes the bottom shot attempt. Will it pay off?
Going to do it again. This time he tries to hold up McKennedy a little bit and break his momentum, but McKennedy comes right back on the inside.
And Rocco surges in front in turn number 2. Rocco trying to hold off McKennedy. Now maybe it will be McKennedy's turn to tomahawk his way underneath him, but he is a victim to Ron Silk. For the first time in this race, on lap number 284, Rocco has become a lap leader.
Yeah, well, McKennedy might have tried that move to go to the bottom, but it was occupied by Ron Silk. So now he's got to chase Rocco again and give it a shot, as Silk's going to try the inside once again.
Kobe in 4th, Buddy Charette in 5th. Bonsignor right now a distant 6. And Keith Rocco. This would be one of the most impressive moments of his career, less than 15 laps away.
Here is Silk again, taking a peek down underneath John McKennedy, but can't get it done. McKennedy is preoccupied with trying to get up alongside Keith Rocco.
McKennedy had a little room. Let's see if that room expands as they reach turn number 3. Not yet. Rocco, a pretty difficult driver to pass, but he's never had to worry about a guy the caliber of McKennedy too many times in his career. Here comes McKennedy again. Veto power by Rocco. Silk is still a factor as they have opened up some room between them and the 4th place car at Gobi.
Well, Rocco on defense, and he may have to get a shove from McKennedy if McKennedy wants to move him out of the way.
Lane change, McKennedy trying for the lead.
Going way down low and sticking there down underneath Keith Rocco. They pretty much bounce off of each other out of turn 2, and McKennedy has to retreat a little bit.
And McKennedy went into Death Valley to try to make that move, and Rocco stayed alive. Down to the final 10 and a half laps. And McKennedy, you know he is capable of that bottom shot at any time. Keith Rocco protecting his turf. Down to the final 10 laps. Rocco 10 laps away from the biggest payday of his career.
And John McKennedy's in trouble as he drops to the bottom of the racetrack, and Silk gets around him. They all go by him.
Buddy Charette trying to get underneath Kobe. Buddy Charette is in 3rd place.
He gets around Doug Kobe, and it looks like we're going to end up getting a caution because John McKennedy is slow on the bottom of the racetrack and not moving at all. Caution is out.
And the caution comes just before Rocco caught up to the 79 car. So all of a sudden in turn 2, McKennedy's car lost its nutrition and it went into a panic attack in turn number 2. He couldn't get it off the speedway and onto pit road. So 9 laps to go. And when Silk was in trouble, or when McKennedy was in trouble, out of nowhere came Buddy Charette to get by Kobe. So remember earlier in after he won the SK Light, he said that anyone who thought you couldn't drive in the Thompson 300 and drive a tour car and then win in an SK Light was wrong. Well, maybe the flip side of that, anyone who thought you could drive in an SK Light and not do anything in the open modifieds, they're wrong because Buddy Charette, the feel-good story of this race, regardless of what happens during the final 9 laps.
Pretty slow push for John McKennedy on pit road.
Boy, that was a pretty awesome pass, shock and awe by Charette to get by Kobe. I think he might have caught Kobe by surprise. And Keith Rocco playing the waiting game now. 9 laps in his career. His first modified victory ever was at this track when he was driving the 6 car owned by Bannister Motorsports. His crew chief was Shane Hopkins. And years later, he is on the verge of perhaps getting the biggest payday of his career, $20,000. He didn't get that much lap money today, or won't, because he didn't take the lead until lap number 284. But I don't think he cares so much about that. He wants the big trophy.
Well, we're getting ready for the restart, and only 9 laps to go. Here they come. Green flag. Rocco gets a good start.
Better than Silk, beating him into turn 1.
And Silk trying to stay with him. Doug Kobe right there with Ron Silk has moved back into third. Now the 92 of Anthony Nocella going to work on Buddy Charette in the race for the 4th spot. But Keith Rocco has put some breathing room between himself and Ron Silk.
0.3 of a second. The lead as they whiplash off the corner. The man, the fastest pony in the merry-go-round, Keith Rocco, into turn number 4. Kobe, is he capable of a last hurrah? Charette in 4th, followed by Nocella. Then a battle between Swanson and Kraus for the number 6 spot. And here is the kid going hard into turn 3.
Boy, it wasn't too long ago we were counting him out. In fact, we saw him spun out on the racetrack, and now he's leading this thing and actually pulling away.
After that spin out, he has become a different driver. In car number 57, pulling away from Silk. Closest battle, 3rd and 4th. Kobe, Buddy Charette. Also there is Nocella and Swanson. But the spotlight is on Keith Rocco.
5 laps to go this time. 5 for Rocco, and he continues to pull away and turning in some fast laps too, as he is faster than the rest of the field at this point.
On most Sunday afternoons, Keith Rocco is on his boat with his family. But right now, his ship is about to come in 4 laps if he can maintain his advantage over Ron Silk.
Off the second turn and down the backstretch, Silk by himself in 2nd, Buddy Charette in 3rd. Here's Anthony Nocella trying the inside of the inside of Doug Kobe to take that spot away. And Matt Swanson on the move into number 3.
So Keith Rocco exiting turn 2. Ron Silk falling behind. The advantage is 0.8 of a second for Rocco. Buddy Charette back in 3rd, 1 spot ahead of Nocella. 2 laps to go. The countdown is started for Keith Rocco.
Yeah, Rocco has opened up a big, big lead. One of the biggest leads we've seen here this afternoon, and he continues to run away from Ron Silk. Buddy Charette all by himself in the 3rd spot, and now Anthony Nocella in a comfortable 4th as they go under the white flag. 1 lap left to the Thompson 300.
And this could be the most lucrative lap in Keith Rocco's racing career as he is able to swish his way into turn number 3. Here comes Keith Rocco coming out of turn number 4. And Keith Rocco has rocked the house and has won the Thompson 300.
Yeah, and a mix-up between Buddy Charette and the 16 of Silk there at the end. They actually made contact in the 3rd and 4th turn, and Charette was able to get by to take over the 2nd spot. So we got Charette 2nd, Silk 3rd, Anthony Nocella 4th, and Matt Swanson comes through to finish 5th.
Wow, what a dramatic final lap. Buddy Charette, I think and Rocco celebrating. Despite his success and despite his championships, there was always a knock on him. He was a Saturday night driver, a 30-lap, a 40-lap guy that he didn't have the patience to win a 300-lapper or even a 150-lapper. Keith Rocco has proved his critics wrong today. Very patient for the first 200 laps. We weren't talking about him very much. Then with about 50 laps to go, he was very sluggish, spun out, went into the pits, and all of a sudden, Keith Rocco turned into a $20,000 man.
Yeah, can't wait to hear his words down there in Victory Lane. The family and friends are swarming the O'Reilly Auto Parts Victory Lane. Meanwhile, call it a victory for Buddy Charette. who on the last lap comes back to finish second.
And there was Buddy, too. Before you can finish on the podium in the Thompson 300, you have to finish it. And he was 11th for about 70 consecutive laps, and then he turned it on. So we are getting ready to go to O'Reilly Victory Lane. Let's go to Kyle Sousa.
Obviously, a pretty surreal moment. So earlier today, you made more history, winning another track championship. I think this one obviously tops that. What a run there to get through the field and win the return of the Thompson 300.
Yeah, you know, the whole strategy in this race with me, my brother, this crew was just we just had to stay on the lead lap. We had to be there at the end. We had to survive, and that's the whole strategy of this race. You know, I can't thank my brother enough. You know, me and him make one hell of a team. Mark and Mike Payne, M&M Stone Creations, they give me everything I need. Man, I can. D&G Paving, M&M Stone Creations, Pettit for the awesome horsepower under the hood. They all said the steel-headed motor wouldn't make 300. Well, she's still going. B&M Maintenance, Troyer Race Cars, TFR, Sunoco Race Fuel, Chris Machad and everybody at ACT for putting this on. You guys are the best, keeping the oval here alive at Thompson Speedway. Scott Tapley runs an awesome show. And, man, I can't thank my whole team enough. Everybody that helps and makes this possible.
Keith Rocco wins the return of the Thompson 300. 20 grand to win for him. I'm going to catch up with Buddy Charette, who finished. Buddy, come around here. Picked up the win in these SK Light Modifieds earlier today, and he finishes second. Holy moly. Second place in the Thompson 300. I don't want to. What are the emotions like right now?
I'm a mess. I can't even believe it. At one point we were like three laps down or 4 laps down or something, and I was yelling at these guys on the radio that we should have took tires, and you know the wheels were bouncing. I couldn't even see where I was going, and then I don't know. It all came together there at the end, and the car was pretty good, and I was just trying not to burn the tires up after we pitted there the last time, and I was just kind of rolling on the throttle, and holy crap, this is the Thompson 300, and we came in second. I don't even know what to say. It's amazing. I got to thank Polar Beverages, Salvador Auto, CNC Pools, Lyman Signs, Martin and Sean for believing in me. You guys are the man. I'll tell you what, I couldn't do it without you guys. Wow. I'll tell you what, I got a huge thank you to Complete Chassis Solutions for this whole deal, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't have cars like this. Good job by the guys in the pits, even though we've never done pit stops before. That was pretty interesting. So, we lost a bunch of spots there at the beginning, and I was a little frustrated, but I didn't get down on them because this is the first time doing it. So, holy crap.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Buddy Charette second, and Keith Rocco wins the Thompson 300. Matt, Pete, I'll send it back up to you to close out the weekend.
Well, Pete, how do you put what we have seen this weekend into words that it's going to be a very tough job to do?
It has been just thrilling all weekend long. You mentioned it when you talked about the drama. So many races so close, going all the way to the end. So many different things played out in all of the races, and that included this. The Thompson 300 did not disappoint for sure, as Keith Rocco picks up the win, and I don't think we would have picked him at the beginning to do that for sure. Buddy Charette for second, Ron Silk third. Anthony Nocella finished fourth. Matt Swanson was fifth. Doug Colby finished up sixth. Andrew Kraus was seventh. Tommy Barrett was eighth. Chris Pastriak held on for ninth. Justin Bonsignor finished in the 10th place. John McKennedy is credited with an 11th place finish, followed by Andrew Moeller, Eric Goodale, Craig Lutz, John Montesanto, Mike Christopher Jr., Nick Anglace, 18th with Anthony Cecily. Patrick Emmerling finishes 19th, and Josh Zentek 20th.
And then it was Andy Jankaliak 21st, Dave Sapienza 22nd, Noah Corner 23rd, in 24th Ronnie Williams, and in 25th Chase Dowling. Now, all you fans who saw every lap of the World Series, you get our gratitude because you are great fans. It all started on Friday night and ended with Keith Rocco. He only led for 16 laps, but he was able to win $20,000. And Buddy Charette, he first and second today for Charette, a winner in the SK Lights, a second in the Thompson 300. I don't know if any driver has had a better day than that. So what a way to end the season. And Pete, it was great working with you again. And the Thompson 300 turned out to be a barn burner. A lot of people doubted it, but it sure was. And right till the very last lap when Buddy Charette got by Ron Silk to get into the runner-up position.
Yeah, it was a great race. We survived weather in the area, which could have been a factor here this afternoon. We have to thank our race director, Scott Tapley, for moving the show along and making the decisions that he did during the race to get us to this point, to wind it up. And our thanks to Kyle Souza, who was doing a great job down on Victory Lane all weekend long, and everybody else that's been assisting us here, both in the booth and on the Speed 51 broadcast.
So we call it a season, and we're glad you were with us, and we hope you enjoyed the action. And don't forget, the icebreaker isn't very far away, and we hope to see everybody then. So on behalf of Pete Falcone, we say goodbye. We would like to thank, of course, Chris Michaud of the American Canadian Tour and Tom Mayberry of the Pro All-Star Series. Scott Tapley was on top of his game today. Our men on the flag stand, Bobby Blanchette, and also Brian Callum, and everybody in Thompson, the safety crew, the wrecker crew, who played a part in a very successful Thompson 300. So it is history, and Keith Rocco, with maybe the biggest win of his career, he has won a lot of championships and more than 300 races, but tonight he can say he won the Thompson 300. Good night, everybody.